a new addition, which is a SWAT medic. So we have a paramedic that is on the department that goes on call outs with the SWAT team. So a good addition. Also, one of our it's not newer programs, but very popular programs is our Fire Cadets program. It is made up of young men and women that are interested in the fire service. Their ages from 13 to 20. And it has been a really great recruitment program for us. They're able to do ride time, go on calls, do training. We've hired part-time and full-time members from this program, and we just recently hired our very first female from this program. So that's great. So our call volume, our call growth. In the last 10 years, we've seen a 33% increase in call volume. In 1978, when we were a township, we were at 100 calls. Just last year, we were just over 1,600 calls. One of the things that we've been trying to capture more is what we call overlapping calls. So last year in 2025, we had 34% of overlapping calls. And that is when a call comes in and then we receive another call while that's going out. So it's important of our staffing. And one call or one day last year in January, we received 5 incidences in 30 minutes. We were at our average staffing of 7 that day. 4 of the first calls were EMS. The 4th one that came in was actually a cardiac arrest. We were able to free up one of the members in a chase vehicle. We had mutual aid coming from all over. They responded to the scene. They were bystanders assisting with CPR. That member was able to shock the patient, CPR, and resuscitate him, and that person is alive today. The 5th call that came in was a structure fire that happened right around the corner, and one of the officers was able to leave that and actually notify the residents because they didn't know that their house was on fire at that time. So just one of those overlapping calls that we're really trying to capture. So why does all this matter? Our growth, our run volume, we've seen an increase in community risk reduction, which is CPR classes. But on top of that, we have reduced our staffing and we are seeing loss of revenue. So Perry Firefighters Local 3003 has worked hard to keep costs down. Their last collective bargaining agreement, they took a 0% the last year because they knew of the loss of fundings that were coming in. We did a cost analysis on department vehicles, and we have about 4 vehicles that we took out of our fleet. One of those was being a ladder truck that was 30 years old, and it was not becoming, or it wasn't being cost effective. We auctioned off no longer needed equipment. And like I said, we have reduced our staffing. We are down 1 firefighter and we are down our executive captain's position. That was an admin position and he was the fire marshal of the department. In 2026, our full-time secretary will become a part-time position, again, to help save on costs. One of the other things that we're seeing a big increase on is vehicle replacement. We try to buy an ambulance every 5 years and we have 4 of them. So that always puts our last ambulance 20 years old. The last ambulance we bought was in 2022 and it was $290,000. We started the process for the next ambulance in 2024 because it's about a 2-year process. The ambulance that we bought for $290,000 2 years later was $350,000. So we had to look at other ways to not spend that much. So we looked at the option of remounting. And what that is they take the patient compartment, the box off the back, they roll the chassis out, they put a new chassis in and hook everything back up. Short story. So we went with that option because it cost us 50% less to do the remount than to actually buy a new ambulance. We've also done external funding. Since 2003, when we started going and getting grants, we've received almost $2 million in grants. Most recently in 2023, we received $147,000 in radios and ropes. And just last year in 2025, we received just over $78,000 in fire hose and fire nozzles. And that replaced a lot of old, between the radios, ropes, and fire hose and nozzles. A lot of that stuff was over 20 years old. We also have state funding through House Bill 110 and Senate Bill 299. Those are temporary supplemental funds from the state, and that funding decreases every year and ends soon. So community expectations. The community expectations is important to us. So we have a survey program that if we go to you for an EMS call, you might receive a postcard from us to give us results back. Since implementation, we have sent out over 10,000 cards, and we have a 43% return on those cards, and 98 to 99% of those are high satisfactory rates. One of the other things is we're graded by the public protection classification, also known as the ISO rating. It's an insurance rating. They come in every 5 years. and they grade us. They collect all our training records, our hose testing records, our incident reports. They look at our incident report and see how we respond, how our staffing is. And we got graded last year and we received our highest score ever. And it was, it's impressive. It's a lot of work of the members of the fire department that put in this training. And we're a class 3 rating. We've been a class 3 since 2015. And that places us in the top 10% of fire departments in the country. And we're super proud of that. Our last highest score was back in 2015. So we have definitely progressed since then. So why is an additional levy needed? We have reached the limit of doing more with less. Revenue has declined while costs, calls, equipment requirements, and services have grown. So we currently work off of 3 different levies for us for our property taxes. So we work off a 2.9, a 4.5, and a 3.0. So when you combine all those, we are at a 10.4. The 2.9 and the 3.0 are actually up for renewal. Those are renewed every 5 years. The 4.5 is a permanent limit. So we would have to go into, we could start in the fall or go into next year to start the process of renewing those levies. House Bill 920, this was passed in the late 70s. It's called the levy reduction factor. So for us as a fire district, as property values rise, which everybody has just seen the property values go up, they actually reduce our millage. So we don't collect more than what was passed. We do see increases and when the plant does shutdowns and they do refueling, sometimes we see increases from fuel rods from that. But our 4.5 mil levy has reduced down to a 2.58. 3.0 has been reduced down to a 2.28, and the 2.9 is reduced down to a 1.5 millage. I know this is very hard to see, but this is the rates of taxation for 2025 payable for 2026. This is every taxing entity in Lake County. And the first circle is the fire district. So our district in Madison is the other fire district. And the other circle is the total millage that each taxing entity gets. So I have a better picture. It's still a little blurry. But this is all broken down into highest to lowest. And I just wanted to highlight that Perry Village and North Perry Village are the lowest taxing entity in Lake County. Perry Township is right at 3, third from the bottom. You can see Madison is the 10.48, and I said we're at 10.4. And then I highlighted in red the communities that surround us: Painville Township, Madison, and Leroy Township. So you can kind of see where they fall within that bracket. So the amount generated, our 10.4 millage total revenue that we received from that is 3.819362. The cost of the taxpayers is $204.66 per $100,000 of county auditor's market value. So additional revenue on top of the property taxes, we have the additional revenue that we received from the state. This money was received from loss of levies and also help from the devaluation from the power plant. Last year, we received almost $13,000 a month from the help from the loss of levies. And then in 2025, we received $513,000 from the devaluation. This money is reduced every year and is gone in 2028. So this is kind of a slide to show you that in 2023, we were just over $700,000 we were receiving from the state. It declined a little bit in up to 2025. And then this year we have lost almost $240,000. Going into 2027, we'll lose another additional around $240,000. And in 2028, that money is officially gone. And just so you can see, the blue is what we bring in on property taxes. So 83% of our budget revenue is 83%. The gray is the state funding, which is 15%. And then the orange is the intergovernmental. So that is where the Homestead Act and the owner occupancy comes from, which we just took a loss of right around $55,000 from that. That was passed through the county. As we go into 2027, that gray is going to get smaller, the blue is going to get bigger. And not to debate or anything over this, but I do want to point out that if property taxes were to get eliminated, that whole blue part would go away. I just want to point that out. This is our expenditures. The blue is our wages, just like any other business or entity. Wages are your biggest expenditures that come through. The gray is our insurance. And then all the other smaller ones are vehicle maintenance, fuel, station maintenance, supplies, equipment. One of the big things that we've seen a big increase on is dispatch fees. And up in every year to 2030, we are going to see just under a $6,000 increase in dispatch fees each year as we go into 2030 through the contract that was signed. So this is a chart of our revenues versus expenditures. So the blue is the revenue coming in. So as you can see, the blue drops down in 27, and you can see it flattens out in 2028, and that is due from that state funding that is completely gone in 28. And you can see our expenditures just keep going up due to inflation and everything that falls into play. So with the current revenue we are not able to provide the current level of services that we provide. So our proposal is an additional tax levy for the purpose is to maintain the current levels of services that we provide. So on May 5th, we are asking for a $5 million, 5-year levy. The important part of this, though, is if the $5 million levy passes, the current $3 million we have will be eliminated. We wanted to do, when we started preparing for this, we wanted to do a replacement levy, but in October of last year, the state came in and said that you can no longer do replacement levies. So we had to do an additional levy. And they said it was too confusing for the residents. I feel like it makes it even more confusing. So when you go to the ballot, you will see a $5 million 5-year levy that will generate $2.6 million and cost the homeowner $175 per $100,000 per the county auditor's market value. The actual revenue, when we eliminate the 3, the actual revenue generated would be $1.2 million, and the cost would be $95 and not that $175. So when it's broken down, it's $7.93 a month, or 26 cents a day per the $100,000 county auditor market value. So we're at a 10.4 with the increase of the 5 and eliminating a 3, it's a 2. So it takes us up to a 12.4 mil levy. So this is the current one of the 10.4, and this is what it looks like going to the 12.4. So you can see that we go up just 1 with that, but we are still one of the lowest in the county. So that's our question is what happens if this levy fails? So the biggest thing that we would have to capture with that is staffing reductions. We do have a full-time firefighter retiring this summer. We would not replace his position. The full-time secretary that we talked about making a part-time position, we would not replace that as well. We would start cuts to training, our specialized training and our off-duty training. Reduction of community programs like our CPR classes would be limited, and off-duty community events would be limited. Because ultimately, our mission statement is to proudly serve this community through our dedication and commitment to preserve life and property. And we believe this is what you guys expect and deserve. So with that, that finishes that up. I do have flyers that I can set out in the back. We do have an email, citizensforperryfire@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, you can send to that. Don't put it on social media. Ask us directly, because I know there's always a lot of speculation. So you can call the station, you can email that, but I can answer if anybody has any questions.
Doug? I'm Brian Dannon, I live on Green Street. Been here 34 years. You guys do a great job on that. Mayor, how many new homes have been put into this community the past 5 years?
5 years?
Let's say 3 years. We've got all the new ones up by 80.
Probably,
Another 350.
300 maybe,
How many?
about 300 maybe.
About 300, 350,
Something like that.
What has that done for the fire department for income?
It has the new bill. So if you look at, so that effective millage, that reduced down millage, when you come in as a new owner or new property, you don't get the 10 point, you don't get property tax on the 10.4, you get property tax on, I believe it's just around 6, above 6. So we have seen a slight increase on those, and that again offsets as more people come in, it actually offsets the cost. It doesn't, we get a little bit on the new builds, but again, that's where that reduction factor comes in, and we actually, it starts dropping. So we do see a little bit, but nothing. We would need we would need a lot of homes to capture that.
Like 3,000?
3,000 would capture.
Yeah.
Would also cost too.
My question, like, what I'm trying to get down to is I look at what I pay in taxes. The average home in Perry Village is about $275,000. On that home, about $360 a year goes towards the fire department. So all these, if you got 300 new homes, that's a lot of money.
But as those come in, that reduction factor reduces. So we, like I said, we see a slight increase, but it's not even enough to capture what the state is taking away and reduce.
I see what you're saying. So what we're paying, the extra new homes are putting in, state's taking away. Is that, do I understand that right?
No, I'm just saying,
Okay,
what
misunderstood.
we're capturing, like, it's a small amount what we're seeing on the new homes. It's not compared to what we're losing to the state, so it doesn't. I mean, if it did, we would be sitting here.
I understand.
It's kind of like your taxes went up $1,500, yet every stole far more money. I still don't figure that one out either.
Simple question, what is the $6,000 dispatch fee for?
So that covers,
911 system?
yeah, so that is our central communications, the sheriff's department, so that's where all.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to know.
Same thing with police, ours is going up every year too.
Every community saw
No, I just wondered
significant
if it had to do with the
increases
911
because of
system.
Yeah, that encompasses our 911, when you call dispatch, and then we also have fire station alerting that trips our stations, so there's actually a cost on that as well. I really appreciate your guys' time.
Appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to throw in there, Brian, just so that you understand, like, when they ask for, say they ask for $3 million, right? And it's spread over X amount of homes. If you add more homes, they can still only get $3 million. So it's gonna reduce the amount that comes from each one.
Gotcha. You have to, like I said, you'd have to build, for us to see capture a lot, I mean, you'd have to build like 3,000 homes. And then if you had that many, your costs would actually start going down, to start capturing all that.
And you wouldn't be a village.
So we can get out of here, or should we keep moving on?
No, we can move on.
Okay. Thanks. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to public comments.
We read from my phone, sorry. Gentlemen, I'm standing here
Could you-
tonight.
Can I ask you, please state your name and your address for the record?
Sorry. My name is Nick McNamee. I reside at 4058 Castlewood Court. So I'm standing here tonight as a homeowner, a neighbor, a father who chose to move to Perry Village very intentionally. My family came here for the quiet, small town feel you can get at a place like this. Enjoy your home in the peace and quiet. I moved here from the border of Willowick and Euclid to escape the noise, traffic, and light pollution. That's what I left behind. I did not move here to bring it with me. The data center project was approved with very little meaningful community input and engagement. Whether there were meetings about this or not, many of us didn't know, were not adequately informed, or only heard about it after the fact. And that's the problem. I'll be honest, the way the public comment is being limited here tonight feels consistent with how this entire process has gone from the beginning. Controlled, rushed, and done without the community truly having a seat. Everything I've seen and heard, there are many people in this village who share valid concerns about this project and its potential negative impact on our communities. So the question is simple. Why does that not matter more? I helped collect signatures last summer only to see those efforts negated by the actions of the current mayor and the previous council. I made the effort to reach out. I've spoken with several members of the village council, 2 out of 3 Lake County commissioners, hundreds of local residents. I also contacted my U.S. congressman as well as a U.S. House candidate. And I very recently spoke with you directly, Mayor, and I asked you to be prepared to address this community because people have questions and we want clarity. Instead, what we get is a structure that limits participation at the very moment engagement matters the most. You don't build trust in a community by limiting its voice, you lose it. If this project were truly a benefit to Perry and all of its residents, then it should be able to withstand the heat, public interest, and scrutiny. But what I'm seeing instead is silence from the very people who should be facilitating that conversation. This isn't about being for or against development. It's about whether the people who live here still have a real voice in what happens here. And right now, many of us feel like we do not. Across this community, people who disagree on nearly everything are standing together on this one issue. Political affiliation does not matter here, because when it comes to your home, your family, your quality of life, none of those labels matter. What does matter is that we protect the environment around us and that we look out for each other and that we stand together. People are tired of being told what's best for them, and instead of being asked what's best for them. They're tired of decisions being made first and half-assed explanations coming later. Maybe. That's not how trust is built. That's not how communities remain connected. This is not just land on a map. This is where people built their lives, where they raised their families, their crops, and their farm animals. This is where they plan their future. And if decisions like this are going to be made, then the people who are affected by them the most deserve to have more than an after-the-fact explanation. They deserve a voice before the decisions are made, not after. We demand transparency, we demand accountability, we demand a seat at the table in our own community, and we, above all, deserve answers.
3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Katie O'Neill. I live at 7880 Driftwood Drive in Madison Township. I was born at Geneva Hospital. My parents had O'Neill's Landing on Geneva on the Lake. My mother moved us to Chagrin Falls when Perry Power Plant was put in. I moved back here when I was 40. After earning a history degree from Ohio University, a master's in energy regulation and law, and an environmental law degree from Vermont Law School. I ran for state senate in 2024 as an environmental lawyer because I am very much in love with Lake Erie. And I am so grateful for all the conservation efforts that have been put forth in my lifetime. Lake Erie has come back to life. And it is a privilege and an honor to see it happen. Now, I'm very concerned because today there have been 111 earthquakes in Madison Township. That is 10 miles from the power plant, which was built on the shores of Lake Erie. It's a dangerous situation. To have a data center be built that will put more demand and more pressure on that fault line is reckless and dangerous. I'm here because the data center, if it must be here in Lake County, with us, responsible citizens, right, that have always taken care of our environment, then let them buy the Superfund site at Fairport Harbor and clean it up. And use that site, which we aren't using, which we need help to have cleaned up. Let them use solar panels on top of the building. Let them be good neighbors. How dare they come to our community and take our farmland and our nurseries? How dare they? That feeds us. That contributes to our community. That is us. They are coming in here as thieves in the night, saying that they are contributing to us when really they are endangering us and they are taking from us. We have got migratory birds that are coming right now to Lake Erie that we all love seeing. We make bird houses for them. And that data center, it is going to have lights on 24 hours a day. The birds migrate at night. The data center is going to make sound 24 hours in a day. People come here for quiet nature. People come here for our vineyards, for our farms, for our nurseries.
That's 3 minutes.
Thank you.
I'll get you next.
My name's Jonathan. I live at 4157 Southbridge Road, Perry, Ohio. I've lived here for about 7 years. I was told online by one of the council members that you guys don't answer questions during meetings. Crazy. But I was told to go online and learn everything that I could. So what I have learned is that there's not that many people that live in Perry. We're like, according to the last census, there was like 1,599 to 1,663 residents in Ohio. I mean, in Perry. And most of the data shows that there was a decrease in 0.6% of residents in the past few years. You guys want to approve or a building that would use 5 million gallons of water a day and over 100,000 homes worth of electricity in a day. The HVAC system for that would sound like a jet engine off in the distance. What are we doing? When they think that they're gonna, it's gonna be a jobs builder, but it'll be mostly out of town contractors, and then by the end, it'll just be like 3 local residents as security guards until they get those terrifying robot ones that are dog shaped. So in the end, it's like, who pays for this? You guys agreed to it, and we're on the hook for something if we back out I heard between $500,000 to $8 million if we back out. I would rather pay that than deal with all this and then also have to deal with the increase in electric and water bills. And I mean, I don't know. That was just most of my thoughts. And then circle back to, you guys don't answer questions. Why? We should elect people who are willing to change some of the rules around here because.
We do answer questions.
Really? Yeah. All right, well, that's it, I guess.
Got to down there first.
Yes, my name is Larry Hackley. I live at 4015 Center Road. I want to ask 2 hypothetical questions. One is what benefit is the data center going to bring to this community financially? And the other thing is we had talked a couple of weeks ago about the pilot plant and that's part of the abatement, determining the abatement for the plant. Aren't we already committed for the most part contractually to build this? How we're on the wrong end of things when it comes to debating or negotiating the amount of abatement is going to be.
Not necessarily. We don't have to debate anything.
Well,
That's why we have to wait for the proposal and negotiate. We'll be talking to attorney
But
tonight.
would we be liable then for violating the contract and purchase agreements?
Nope.
So that's the way we could end this project is by not.
Theoretically, yes.
Now, does the state also abate?
I'm not sure what the state does. It has nothing to do with us.
Well, it does in that they've already paid out $250 million to other data centers.
Well, it doesn't affect us. That has nothing to do with us. It's not part of our contract.
Well, what I always say to that is that we must be getting a special one. Because I hear all the time, ours will not make any noise, ours is a closed system, it won't use any water.
Well, I'll answer that question on the water usage. When Champion Farm went in, the county allowed them for 1,300 gallons a day per acre to use for water. And then you have the pesticides or herbicides that go with the groundwater for using that. This data center was less than that. I was quoted at 275,000 gallons a day. Not 5 million. 275,000.
That's still a substantial amount of water.
Well, Bacon Road facility has capacity for 6 million gallons. They're at about 3 million gallons right now is what they use a day. So you got 3 million gallons excess capacity in Bacon Road facility.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Good evening, I'm Jim Klein. As well, getting to the point about the questions and looking over the resolution, I think,
is utilized for, determining the sale here. One of the points this question about was section 3. The resolution indicates it declares an emergency. And section 3 indicates this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public health, safety, and welfare of the inhabitants of the village of Perry. What I wanted to know, my question was, what exactly is the emergency? What were the findings of fact that were utilized to determine that there was, in fact, an emergency? And then, in what way did that alter the means by which this resolution was put through and adopted by referring to it as an emergency declaration as opposed to a standard resolution? You want to?
I have to refer to council on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that in front of me. I don't have the minutes. I mean, that's a action that took place 2 years ago. So I can't really respond to that without taking a look at the notes from that meeting and the minutes from the meeting.
So in fact, if there was not an actual emergency and supportive facts to establish that there was an emergency, would that undermine the validity of the resolution adopted in the first place? And if that were the case, that this action was taken without appropriate authorization by relying on an unsupported emergency, would that also trigger any sort of insurance coverage for any sort of errors in emissions policy on the part of council for adopting legislation in that fashion that might provide funding for getting out of this agreement because the action was taken without authorization?
Okay, so you've asked about 5 questions in that comment. I'm not going to respond to that until I've had a chance to take a look at the legislation at the time and the minutes from that meeting. Okay?
I'd appreciate it if you would. Thank you very much.
Richard Leinbach, 3970 Call Road. My only beef is probably everybody on council has a college degree. Everybody that's in this room is probably half of them have maybe a college degree. If you have a college degree, why would you sign a contract that stipulates that you have to pay $500,000 if you back out? Why would you do something like that? You wouldn't do it if it was your house, you were buying a house. You wouldn't put down money and say, I'm going to take this house if I couldn't get it. Correct? Would you do that, Mayor?
Was it correct? Well, there's always other stuff that back out, just like they can back out for due diligence if they find something on there. The 500,000 was put in its pretty standard contract going for development property, or we don't, shop around and get somebody else to bid more for it than what that was for.
So 12 people here decide what is best for Perry when all these people in here are against it. Does that ring a bell?
And outside,
50 outside.
plenty of people outside.
Yeah, there's more outside.
Come in.
That's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Sturgill. I live at 4334 Utah Court. I have been a Terry resident my entire life. My husband and I went through the entire school system. I remember when the power plant came and were the first classes to go through the school. And I remember how the community reacted at that time. The kids have gone through school. My daughter is currently a high school student. So my husband and I are obviously a younger couple. So we're looking at this community as we've been here our lives and we'll probably retire here. It's a small community. We love it. We're very active in our community, very active in the school. My only concern is, and if I'm understanding this correctly, when we're talking about building the data center, this is not something that's going to happen in 60, 90, 180 days. This is going to take years to build, years. Where Is the school gonna get money? Where is the community gonna get money? When does that start? It doesn't seem like anybody has answers to that. Where is the money gonna go? What's it used for? I think a lot of us, and I can speak for a lot of us, when we're asking questions, we want transparency. It doesn't seem like that's really been a thing. And I'm not necessarily for or against the data center. I don't have enough information from what I've been finding. I can say that I'm at this point in time leaning more against it. I don't think that environmentally what I've been finding, the health benefits as I age or my children age, is necessarily in our best interest. And I also find it kind of repulsive that this wasn't presented to the community. This wasn't a, hey, we're getting this offer. What does everybody think about it? And I think when you think about not only the township, the village, and North Erie, I think it should have been a community decision, not just a decision amongst 12 people. It just feels like permission. What do we want to use the land for? And that's all I'm saying. I just would like transparency on the whole thing. And it seems like you guys are just really being hush hush, which makes it seem not like a good deal and in my best interest. So please.
You know,
Good.
I'm 3640 Main Street. So I got one thing to tell you. You want to save your legacy? You can do something about it. Look around, inside and outside. And the last time when I said something about the birds, I hate to say it, I kind of hear you for it, but you were laughing about it. What she said, it's right on about the birds. You were laughing at me at that time, and I don't like that. And on top of it, save your legacy if you want, otherwise it's gonna be on your shoulder. And everybody else around you. That's for this setting. You know, so I don't know what you're thinking, you and everybody else that's on this council as far as this goes. But look what's outside, look what's inside. What is, you work for the people, you work for me. You work for I don't propose pros and cons. The last time you had this meeting at the Perry, you have one guy come in and tell us what's wrong. Well, I mean, what's good for the center. Those are the pros, right? But you never told the people what's the cons about this. What could go wrong? And on top of it all, if this goes down and you got to fight the system, where are you going to get the money to fight what they're not doing the right way when they're building? If there is an issue, where are you going to get the money? You're going to get our money. How are you going to solve that problem? So tell us what could go wrong with this. That's what we want to know, but you're not telling us that. You and everybody else. I didn't hear nothing about that. I got to do my own research. You got to do yours. We're stupid about this, right? We don't know. You're a bright guy with that degree that he was talking about. Tell us what's going on. It's very simple. Very simple. The way you hire people to do the pros, hire somebody to do the cons about that. What's good and what's bad about it. You'll put people at ease. But on the other end, most people don't want this data center. I would say save your legacy.
Magic Circle, 4334 Utah Court, Perry. Been hearing a lot of people talk. I just want to say for these members that just got voted in, I've talked to one of them. I was gonna say people saying, "Oh, council was, secretive and shady." Well, it wasn't. Everyone on this current council. You had 3 people for that I know personally, and then obviously Elias was part of that vote that we had no knowledge about. So I just want to clear that up, like when you're talking about the current council, the ones that were voted in, I don't know where they stand exactly, but based on how they were running for us. So hopefully they work with their great college educated minds together to figure out how to get out of a horrible contract that look at 3 people that are on the council formally have been voted out. Question is why? And then this happened. So I just want to know, bottom line, like I said, You see on the community page, everyone's going, oh, you know, hearing about this issue, these issues, and people say, oh, that's false, this is false. So you know what? Mr. Elias, Mr. Mayor, you guys are part of that council that voted for this. You know what? How, like, again, transparency. Put out there why you guys decided to move forward and even entertain and enter a contract with these people. But my big question is, like everyone says, and no one has answers to it. You haven't answered it. He's been quiet all meeting. Why weren't we told about this? Why wasn't it brought to our attention? Like you said, raised here, graduated here, left here, served my country. I came back here. I lived in Little B, Cleveland, East Cleveland, decided to come back here when I wanted to start a family. And now I'm looking at it going, well, shit, I want to retire here, but you put the data center here, guess what? Before my house value goes down, I'm gonna up and sell that bad boy. And then who knows what's gonna tell me, but my big thing to get a chance. Yeah, no Mr. Cost has, you can't spell the question, but silent, you know, you talk to Rick Walker, can't talk about it. Ashley, she posts stuff in favor of it. No one's ever said, well, what are the cons and why did you guys do what you do? Why didn't you tell us and let us know? Like everyone said, hey, residents, this has been brought to us. Here's what it could do. But from what I'm reading, Perry Schools, the fire department, the village, no one's going to see money for 10 to 15 years. So what's the benefit to us? My kids will be gone. I know some kids that people are like, oh, well, it'll benefit my kids. Well, guess what? Your kids 4 or 5 years old, it's not, we're not going to see anything for 10, 15 years. So what's the point of it? If we're not getting anything now, or when you sign it, it goes through, whatever, where's the money up front? And then the abatement, like I said, the abatement, how they do it, you want to turn around and
3 minutes.
make them tax-free after 25 years?
My question is.
What's your
we
name?
know It's Hannah 3925 Red Creek
Red
Court. We know what this data center is to us. I want to know what's in it for each and every one of you guys. You talk for yourself, try and jam this thing down our throats because nobody wants it. I'm a little bit on a different level than some of these people, but
What's your name?
everything that they've said.
What's your name?
I'm Lisa Marie Rowland. I live at 4062 Honeysuckle Court. Honeysuckle Lane, sorry. I'm on a different level. I don't get involved in this political crap. But I came tonight to support the people that know a lot more than I do. And you're taking my dream away. I can't move to Mount Airy, North Carolina to be in Mayberry. This is my closest place. I love driving down Center, Main Street, coming here, living here. I love it. I want to retire here. You guys took that all away. You do this center, you take that away. All these farmers that have built their lives here. I just don't know why you don't have the respect for our feelings. Because if you were out here and you were us, you would feel the same way.
My name's John Nicely. I reside at 3767 Main Street. Properties, center. Here. I only have 2 questions. I'm not gonna put you on the spot. But before that, I just want you to know that there was a facility like this with major contracts, yes, Virginia. Just got voted back. And yeah, it was the site where the battle will run took place, but the affairs of the Civil War at this point, that is for racing history, right? Well, I believe there's a lot of history in this community. These people here. Now, I'm not originally from here, I'm from Madison, but I left here 43 years ago, so I'm going to be back at this conversation. Here I am. I hear you there. I'm retired, drive school bus, Perry Schools.
So I see a lot of you around town. As a matter of fact, some of the firemen that were in here, I have their children on my bus. So I'm concerned about their welfare. My big questions are gonna center around two things. First, have you guys considered any infrasound studies? I understand it's supposed to be a low level output, but infrasound is not detectable by the people here. That's the human body. You got a school right here within a quarter mile of each other. Those effects will take place with these children. Your autistic children will be affected first, followed by abilities in learning and teaching. Okay. In addition to that, there's sports teams that this community is very proud of, state champions. District wrestling, I actually took that bus load of wrestlers this year. All right. It has adverse effects on those children. It's good for the epilepsy. Okay, seizures, things of that nature. I would please ask you to look into that and come back in a future meeting and give us a response. We had a great, my second question is around the fire department. That was a good presentation. I, for one, support what the fire department's trying to do. I understand the economics. What if this center goes in with multiple buildings, high-rise buildings? What type of strain is that going to put on our city for military public infrastructure? Where is the money going to come from to support that? It's going to be just like any other warehouse or anything else, or they're going to have their own fire. I understand security, but fire is a whole different thing. So those would be my few questions for you guys.
I can answer the one on the fire suppression. Those centers usually like a haline type gas situation.
Yeah,
where
right.
they suck all the oxygen out of them, they kill the fire instantly.
That's for electrical.
Yeah, that's for the whole building's like that.
When you get into structures and things and the grounds and this and that, you would think it's still, it is really serious. So it will have an impact on that, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
More people in.
That's what the hope, when people leave, it would be coming in, but, okay.
Somebody can walk about others. Thank you so much.
Can you let the officer know how many are going out so he can let that many come in?
Lost your camera there.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh.
He's getting people coming in.
Good. Maybe it's a public comment. Go ahead.
I think that's why they went to get more people there.
Someone took the mic.
Yeah, I know, that's right.
Hang on, let's.
Shooting Farms, thank you.
Go ahead.
Vince Linderman with 3910 Newton Farms, Barry. I just wanted to say, I don't know anything about a data center. I'm reading a lot of stuff that all sounds bad. I would assume that you guys in the old council did some studies and figured some stuff out, discussed a lot of these issues, you know, before you did what you needed to do. So
Yes,
it would be nice to,
on the chairs here.
get something out on the answer or counter some of the stuff I've heard today, because I haven't seen a lot about it either, but I would like to. And I did support the last council, and I did believe that they didn't do anything that was to just benefit them. I do believe that they
Appreciate
did
that.
stuff for the city of, in the best interest of everybody, and they did do due diligence in looking through this thing. And how's the pickle courts coming?
Bentley should be activating the, dirt for the pickleball court when weather permits.
I saw some stakes.
Yep.
In there. Is that where it's gonna be?
Yep.
Okay.
Just state your name, please.
Julie Schultz, 3794 Main Street. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. As I mentioned in the last meeting, the adverse action of a council member may have placed us in a position where exiting the contract would be in excess of the 500,000 due to the severity of the breach. I also see the negative rhetoric bouncing around on Facebook, but one person did raise a valid question. That individual asked, is there an abatement attached to the deal? If so, for how long? How do the residents who entertain the situation, free cables, utilities, pool, community parking? It's my understanding that this is the purpose of a pilot program, which is something that the village has openly indicated that they are currently waiting for. And this should answer many of the what's in it for us questions. When we talk about a payment in lieu of taxes program, what I would like to see is a structure that is fair, predictable, and genuinely beneficial to the community. A strong pilot program should ensure that the buyer, hereafter referred to as the developer in my text, contributes its share toward the public services that we all rely upon, things like the roads, safety services, and infrastructure. I'd like to see a formula that is transparent and consistent, so both the village and the participating developer knows exactly what to expect year after year. Programs should also be flexible enough to recognize the value this brings, whether it's through jobs, community programs, or economic activity, while still ensuring that they contribute financially in a meaningful way. The things I would hope to see in such a program are the abolishment of the 2% residence income tax, not the employment tax, but the residence tax. I'd like to see the ambulances retrofitted with up-to-date life-saving equipment. I'd like to see improvements to Lee Lighted Park. I'd like to see free trash. I'm going to ask for free water and sewer. I'm going to ask to consider free internet service through either Spectrum or Kinetic. Let's get another plow truck and some beefed up staff to address these heavy winters that were brought up. Funding for the senior center. See support to the fire and school district in this pilot program. And like when I look at my real estate tax bill that every Perry Village resident gets in February and July, I would like them to consider funding the removal of the streetlight fees, Lake County Health Department sewage charge, stormwater management fee. And since the pilot program will contribute significantly to the school, I'd like to see a real estate tax credit related
That's 3 minutes.
to the school decreased in proportion to the pilot. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
My name is Brian Delzappa. I live at 4780 Southridge Road in the township. Just quick introduction about me since I'm running out of time. Resident of Madison my entire life up until about 2022. Went to Madison High School. Was one of the last Madison teams to beat Perry. It's been a long time. Honestly. Congrats on that, guys. But honestly, even though I grew up in Madison, Perry was always a part of me. I was right on the border. I lived on Wood Road, about half a mile away from Perry. But all I can say, I'm just really disappointed in how this was handled, you know, from just like the limited time we're talking about this today and how the residents are clearly surrounding us right now. They're pretty dismayed. That's really all I have to say as far as that goes. I know you guys can't really answer questions.
Yes, we can if we know the answer.
Okay. I just see a lot of retired folk complaining who are barely making it in this economy. Gas prices are going crazy. We got another war in the Middle East. At what point are we just sick and tired of being squeezed and squeezed? And we see a billionaire company basically come to this town, get a nationally cheaper price than what the data centers per acre are going for. And it just seems like there's something fishy here. And I don't want to start pointing fingers, accusing people like that, but there really hasn't been a lot to calm the people's nerves, in my opinion.
So I'll answer that question. When we did the purchase agreement with us a couple of years ago now, it's been 2 years, believe it or not. We had our people do a study of all land in Columbus area in Ohio and got comps on different farmlands that were being purchased for development sites for data centers and other centers. The $65,000 an acre discussed was an average of what those centers were going for. Granted, some of those places are getting $100,000 to $200,000 an acre. The city put the infrastructure in. They put the sewers, they put everything in. Where this thing is 65,000, we don't put anything in. We're not one dime that we've been spending on doing this. So that's the difference on price of acre compared to.
Well, again, it's
just so you know, clarification.
I'm not anti-AI. I don't want you to think that I'm against data centers because I work around them. I work in these communities, but again, how we went about it is just not the democratic way. I mean, you guys just say, let's do it without asking anybody in this town. And I guarantee if it came to a vote, it would not pass. And then again, like people are like, why does it have to be built in the village? I go to the New Albany campus. I see an entire facility. It's like a dang near city of just data center, Amazon buildings. It's very dedicated. New Albany benefits from it. I just don't see any of that kickback in the deal for us. And again, the lady who just spoke, I didn't catch her name. But absolutely, just the point she brought up is, well, maybe we should get something for the town, improve Lee Lake Park. I love that. Just any of our parks, just improve them. Our nature is so important. And if we could move this to even the lake, I think that's a compromise. Maybe people would be willing to make. I'm not speaking for everybody here, but I just want to see some type of compromise because I understand this is important to the future of the town. But again, it's just an injustice. That's really all.
Appreciate it.
I wasn't prepared to talk.
Your name?
My name is Molly Salzer. I live at 3235 Elizabeth Drive. It is in Perry Township, but I have lived in Perry for 49 years. Lived in the village for 40 years. And we raised our children here. Perry is in our blood. And we love Perry. I love everything about Perry. I love this small town feel. I love that I know most everybody here. And what bothers me or concerns me about the data center, I don't know all the details about it, but the young man just mentioned about, the environment and about how we can maybe improve Lee Laddick Park. Well, if it's going to be detrimental to our environment, how is that going to affect Lee Laddick Park? The ducks and the migration of the animals and the birds and that kind of thing. Those kids love going down there. I'm a walker. I walk the village all the time. And, I see kids fishing and how is that going to affect them? How's it going to affect the health? Because it's invisible. And I wonder about that. So there's just a lot of questions to answer and things to really consider if you would be concerned about the people and about the residents here and about the future. It's not all about money and, we can get new roads and we can do that. We need all of that. But at what expense? Our health, our environment, our birds, our animals. And I guess that's all I have to say because I just love Perry.
So I did visit New Albany. I'll just clarify a little bit, birds and animals. We're outside a data center that was actually built, a community built a 55 community right next to the data center. Their backyard's backed up to it. When we're walking the road, there was birds in the fence at the data center. There's a rabbit running on the ground at the data center. So the data center was there for
Health effect, it's not gonna be immediate, it will be long-term, even with humans.
That's a script.
No, I was down there.
Sir, you don't have the floor.
Thank you.
You want to state your name for the record?
Yeah, Robert Jefferson, 3351 Pine Hollow Place. Township. Is it possible to stop this? Yes.
Anything's possible.
Are you willing to stop it?
That's up to council.
Is the
Mr. Mayor.
council willing to stop this? Or at least put it to a vote?
That's all.
I think
All we're asking for is a point blank.
Can this be stopped? Are you willing to stop it and will you put it to a vote of the people? It's a simple question, gentlemen. Simple question. Can we have an answer? Yes. His grandfathers didn't teach you to look a man in the eye when we talk to him? This is unreasonable, what you people are doing in this community. Is the money that comes from the power plant extension still coming to the community and the school? They got a 20-year extension, correct?
Yeah, but,
Is the money that they used to give Perry still continued in that extension?
that's up in the air. It gets reevaluated 2 years from the state. They're getting less and less.
Your extension should have been up in the air too. That's kind of shady, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't live in North Perry, so they're looking for another 20 years.
You live in this community. It's not North Perry Village and Township. We don't get anything from North Perry. It's
Yeah,
all about money, nickels and dimes to all of you.
We don't get anything.
Every single one of you, it's nickels and dimes. Nothing to do with the light pollution.
Excuse me?
Can I comment?
The homing
Yes.
pollution,
So,
the migratory, it was nice to see.
Hang on.
rabbits on the fence, right?
a couple things I want to put out, okay?
Mhm.
My first question is, does the, like, the penalty for exiting the contract? We'll entertain, put your motion out there, but I want the community to be okay with what that penalty would be.
Put that in the vote.
Yes. Curtis, please, man.
If,
Why did you sign it?
if the community.
You can get a two-part vote.
Penalty,
Stop it, repay the money.
why can't, it can't be stopped unless we pay the penalty.
Are you willing to pay it? Are you willing to?
Well, that's why I need to know who to vote.
Evidently, you were willing to pay it when you signed the contract. You put it in there.
Hang on.
You're willing to lose it when the contract was signed.
I stopped it once, yeah, then well.
Is it worth the village maybe being, or the township, or the village being dissolved?
and if the community doesn't want police and roads plowed, that's up to you.
Are you gonna bring this to a vote of the people? Yes or no?
I can't answer that.
Sir,
I'd rather hear from the village residents than the township people.
so I'm new here.
Everybody's new and everybody else
I'm
is
doing a
retiring.
lot of learning, I'm educating myself, and I might be wrong, but I think that the company is done with due diligence, is that correct?
Correct.
So now we move into the next phase, which I believe is called crap. What's it called?
We're
Anyway, entitlement.
looking for economic, what the benefits are. They're looking at presenting something to us.
And the agreement is online if anybody wants to read it. Okay.
So-
You don't know where it is, somebody will tell you where it is. But I believe the next step is for the council to, the buyers to come in and propose all different sorts of things. Like first, it's gonna be the abatements, and it's gonna be the pilot, like what are we gonna do? We're gonna do both, we're gonna do one. What sort of things are we gonna get? Like she said, like, are we gonna get free sewer and free water and that sort of thing? So there's a lot yet to do. I would not say it was a done deal, because I don't feel anything is, over till it's over. And it's not over right now. We don't have the money. We don't have the title. We don't have, like, there's a lot still to do.
And I know you have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. But if I'm wrong in anything I'm saying, it's like,
Let's forget.
you know, what, so many things to hammer out, like in 15 years, if AI goes under, what are they gonna do with buildings? Like, we have to write that into all the things we have yet to discuss. So there's a lot to discuss, and I love some of you know, like, losing ideas. What are you concerned about? What would you like to see?
before the contract meetings.
No,
Say I
there's
was
no
in here
abatement.
and
I have
I
another
just want to
question.
do that.
That piece of property over there, wasn't there a sewer job just done that runs off of, Ferry Park Road under Route 20 and then down and ends right in front of Ed Gate Plumbing? Was that
No.
part of this,
No, that was, I think that was a storm sewer that ran down. There's a sanitary sewer that ran down Park Road. Down to the first intersection down there.
I just.
That was.
Clark and Cherry Park Road is the service.
Clark, that was it. Yep.
I also did plan speaking. My name is Dawn Buchanan, and I do have a lot to say on this. I'm from the township. I do have a big issue with this. I've been following it pretty diligently. I really have an issue with the transparency of everything, and I do have questions on this. First of all, I am rather upset with this being put into a residential area. I don't think that was fair. On top of you guys selling off all the land, we also have Lake County Nursery that sold off land that butts up against residential areas. A lot of people weren't aware of this. My concern is the noise factor. I don't know if you guys have a site plan. I'm curious, once again, as everybody else mentioned, if this can be stopped. From my understanding, there's a $500,000 penalty to stop this. On top of that, we also have to pay legal fees. And we also have to pay any fees that they've incurred during their site visit. So now the fees, correct me if I'm wrong, this is my understanding, for us to get out of this at this time would be over $1 million, approximately $1 million to $1.25 million for us to get out of this. If they were to opt out of this, it's $50,000. Is that correct? Who signed that
70.
agreement? So that agreement, when you are signing an agreement on behalf of the residents, how does an agreement like that make any sense? Was there an attorney that was involved? Have to go ahead and be accountable on the line for over $1 million, and they can get out of it for $50,000 to $70,000. Explain that to me. I'd also like to know, was there an NDA signed by anyone on council or by you?
I believe I signed the NDA when we
Why
were
would you sign
discussing
an
it
NDA?
in a beginning discussions
Why?
to hear what they had to say.
So what is not being told to us?
Nothing.
A non-disclosure agreement. That means that he does not tell us everything that is going on.
No, the NDA
There is intricate details of the agreement that he does not have the ability to tell us legally.
I signed the NDA for the first 2 months of that process, from I believe February to maybe March.
Why were you forced to sign an NDA?
You're not necessarily forced. He signed an NDA. He has an option.
To start the negotiations of them being into lamp, and nobody else would find out
And
before they have a
I
chance.
wonder why there is no trust right here. That is why. Once again, we're into this for over $1 million to 1.25. They're 50 to 70,000, and now we found out that you signed an NDA. This data center, the developer has never even built a data center before. So anything that they are telling us is a hypothetical. It's not a lie. And I have before. Thank you very much. You spoke.
Address the mayor, please.
So you spoke. Do not take my time. Thank you very much. So the value of this project also, you guys have been talking about, I think this is a knee-jerk reaction because everybody's afraid of property taxes being abolished. So you guys went ahead and did this, knowing the developer in a board meeting from 1 to 2 years ago, I don't even remember, for the school, had mentioned that they were going to go for an abatement. By the time they do the abatement and the 5-year build, full financial benefits would not be hitting the schools and the communities for how many years? 15 years is what the developer even
You're
said.
past 3 minutes.
Very good. Thank you for your time.
So
before we take the next person as a member of council, I want an answer, Mayor, as to why you told me that no one, including yourself, had signed an NDA.
I never told you that.
Lie.
No, now you're lying. I never said that.
Longer said, no, NDA was signed.
We signed the NDA, I believe, in February or January, when I did, when they first came out. And we brought council in our next meeting in March and discussed it in executive session. And once it became public a month or two later, the NDA went away. So it was just, that was
The
it.
question was.
There was no
it wasn't
secrets.
made. The question was, did you sign one?
Yeah. 2.5
You
years
didn't
ago.
tell us that until today.
Nobody asked.
What's the name again?
You're a liar.
What's your
And
name?
you know, you said the thing about the neighbors and stuff.
Your name and
That was
address.
Jim Sheasley, 3965 Hall Road. When you said the stuff about the nature stuff, that was the exact same words that were used to me like a script that a guy from the Pro Data Center who called my personal house. And I came to you and I asked you why a person from this village called my personal house at the last meeting, and you said nobody called, and that was almost word for word for word as to what you said about the nature stuff. I don't think enough research has been done. I don't think enough years of research has been done for us to know how it's gonna affect our health. How's it gonna affect our families?
Data center was around since 1980.
Not these guys.
Not these ones. You just said it's the first one they're ever gonna build.
I don't think you said that.
I never said
He
that.
didn't say that.
Well, someone says that's gonna be the first one they're gonna build. Is that true? You don't know what the hell they're gonna do out there.
I think they're in the process of multiple.
Are you building it or just?
Nobody has any idea what the hell they're gonna do out there.
They are in contract with, for one in, I believe it's called Houghton, Virginia, but that project has not broken ground. I've been keeping up on it and to see where.
So how much is going into your pockets?
It's Fat Goose Day. See you later.
Hang on.
I am personally,
Takes money as well.
well, yeah, right.
Bye, Lucy.
That's awful that somebody would say that we put money into.
You see why it's
our
not
town.
applied though?
It's awful.
It's terrible.
Well, that's.
It's all would have been nice, you know, that's all we're asking for here. We're not, again, there's court to go back and forth.
We're losing time. We're losing time. You had a chance to speak. Would you like to?
Trish Brass, 4166 Manchester. I would like to know how many council members, if this is brought to a vote to try and stop this from moving forward, how many votes from council members do you need? in order
Can't
to-
go there. We can't, you can't deliberate something that's not on the floor with council committing to it in an open forum in a council meeting. It would be inappropriate.
I'm asking how many votes you would need from council members.
Oh, I apologize. It would require,
Majority.
the majority
Which is,
Four.
which is
Four.
how many? Four.
for.
My other concern is, due diligence on the data center. Grass.
Trish. Thanks.
How do we stop the data center at this point? Like take a pause and ask and stop the due diligence to stop so that we don't incur any more costs until we can legitimately stop or get the people's voice. I mean, you all went around the people. Like how do we stop their due diligence, like the bill from continuing to spiral here?
Their due diligence is done. They finished that about a month or so ago.
So do you know how much we're into it?
I don't have a figure.
Are you able to find that out? Sit here and
I can ask them.
you can ask them. So if you could ask them and let the citizens of Perry Village know, the taxpaying citizens, that you all are supposed to work for and not railroad us any longer.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
So time for one more person.
Penalties of
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
buyer.
You're not on the floor. She's got the floor.
Laura Walker, Star for Green Street. Real simple question.
Shoot.
If anybody said to me, and I know it was a choice, if I was looking at a contract and they said, you know, about this NDA, I'd walk away because there's something slimy. That says you are going to be confident and not say a darn thing to anybody about certain things. And to me, that's slimy. If somebody told me you have to sign an NDA because your house, you know, you can't tell your neighbors, you can't tell them. I would think there's something to hide. And that's exactly what an NDA is.
Okay.
Can I ask a fast question?
I think you've already had your 3 minutes.
No,
I just asked the fire department.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
This will be fast.
Shoot.
I'm Brian Danimore. I live at 384 Green Street. I just have a quick question, Mayor. To me, what I'm hearing here and what's been going on, we're pretty much in deep on this whole thing already. And if we back out of this thing, and I've heard dollars, figures of $1 million, $1 million, where's that money gonna come from?
Yeah.
Taxpayers can't, that's $1,000 a household.
Right.
So do we know if we back out of this, where it's gonna come from?
I'll pay it.
You got it?
I'll pay 1,000.
Yeah. It's awesome.
It's gonna cost us
You don't know?
more than $1,000.
No.
No answer.
That's the vote.
That's the vote, right.
I mean, if we're gonna maybe try and get out of this, we need to know how it's gonna get paid for. A lot of us are retired.
I need a point of clarity. Katie O'Neill again.
You have 3 minutes. Would you leave somebody else an opportunity
It'll
to
be
speak?
30 seconds. It's just a question. I had seen that on April 14th, the company is going to be here in Perry answering questions and giving a presentation to the community all day. Is that correct?
All day?
Or
I
is
don't
this
know
true?
anything about that.
I haven't heard anything.
That is my question. This is what I have heard, that April 14th will be here in Perry Township or something and
I've not
answering
heard, I
questions.
haven't heard that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Facebook, the data center.
Go to answer the Facebook.
Based upon the limits, we got time for one more person if you want to speak.
Hi, I'm brand new here. My name's Hannah Kraravon, 3893 Tarpon Cove. I come with a unique background. I work in clinical trials. My question is for the kids, pretty much, because like I'm old, whatever. What is gonna fit into the contract that assures their health? What are we doing to assure their health and their longevity and the risk of this? Because my sister does live in a city where this is. Costs went up, everything. I'm not saying here nor there, does not matter. What I care about is the kids. What are we gonna do to protect the children? There are risks with data centers. We see that in Philly and the areas that do have the data centers around them. So what are we writing into our contract? What are our lawyers doing to assure that if there are long-term risks, we are putting this up potentially so close to a school. So we are putting not just the children who live in this area, but we're putting all of our children at risk. What is the contract going to say? What are our lawyers doing? What is our council doing to assure that our children are safe? There are respiratory risks, there are different things. I work in clinical trials. I can tell you that there are drugs that are out there that we assure you are going to be great, and it becomes risk versus reward. And let me tell you that that risk versus reward is 1 year worth of death, or you are going to get cancer within the next 5 years. So what I want to know, because I do work in a field where risk versus reward, what are we writing into our contract? Are our lawyers looking into this? Who has the children's back in this? Like, are our council saying that they do have the best interest of the youth, of the children of Perry?
Thank you.
To answer your question, the contract is already written and signed, unfortunately. That's what we're.
Okay, before you come up, this young lady was starting to come up. I want to give her a chance.
So, my name is Erin, and I just have a real quick question for you. I am 7865 Stoughton Road in Madison, Ohio. I'm a small farmer, and I deeply care about the environment and water sources. But so my question is, why have you signed an NDA, received money from a company, and you have personally profited off of this data center with that NDA, and you are expecting taxpayers to pay that price to get out of this contract, because that is unacceptable.
What personally did I profit from this NDA?
No, because you signed an NDA.
No, okay.
And I'm
So you have
sure
no basis on your, throwing out allegations. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
you're trying to.
The last person.
Yeah, goodbye.
Your name?
Jen McNamee, 408 Castle and Clifford. I grew up here. You guys don't understand what you're doing to our small town. And you've already done this. You've already gone ahead and signed these contracts, and you've already put everybody on edge here. You're talking about what Champions did to that land. Mr. Zampini is rolling over in his grave right now. That land that he used, we grew up working at Champions. It was my first job. I sold the produce that came from there, the trees. I met lifelong friends. You guys are destroying these areas. This is our small little town. I grew up here. I've been here my whole life, aside from 12 years when I thought I was smarter than everyone, but I guess I came back to raise my children here. My son is 10, 11 yesterday. Please go. He is dead set on buying my home that I live in and raising his 25 children here. And that's him. He's dead set on that. And am I gonna have to tell him, sorry, but we gotta go because we got this data center? And honestly, truthfully, all of us are asking, the reason that everybody has sat here today is because they want to know what is going on. Just tell us. Be transparent. Answer questions. You don't know the answers. Fine. I don't know the answers. But also, then again, why in the world is something happening in this town without you knowing the answers to it? Why don't you guys know? Why don't you have all of the answers? You should have figured out. You don't sign a
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up the public portion and we're gonna move on with the agenda.
I didn't hear you.
Reading it, we're gonna move on in the agenda. You're welcome to stay.
Move on. They feel that it is totally inappropriate and shameful to limit public comment when you sit over and over and over out of your own mouth, Mayor, and say, show up to meetings, show up to meetings, show up to meetings.
Motion to extend public comment 10 more minutes.
Second.
Can I make a suggestion? I don't know if I'm allowed to. What if we had another town hall where people can ask questions instead of a comment section? And we had one before out by the lake.
We weren't allowed to
It
do
was a
anything.
little not up to what we were hoping it was gonna do. It wasn't like run, community friendly, I think. So if we had a town hall and we could raise your questions, stand up, ask your questions, so we'll alleviate some of this, anxiety that you have. I have questions.
You submit some questions.
You want to trust. I'm just making a suggestion that might help bridge the gap and be transparent.
So when we get actual answers.
Yeah, that's how you would.
So.
There could be,
What's that?
Mr. O'Leary, could there be dialogue back and forth at a town hall?
If we establish the town hall under that format, but
That's fine.
that's
So,
a
yeah,
decision
we
that
could have
hasn't been made.
dialogue If we do that at the town hall.
Okay, that would be
But
fantastic.
everybody has to keep it cool or can't have any,
If it's before the vote, where there's more room.
where everybody can.
Did we address the venue change?
Request
First started here?
when that happens.
Oh, I did.
That's my question, if I could.
Yeah.
Any.
Is moving forward with this being a topic. And I had asked previously this week, and was told we needed to vote for a venue change. Is it possible that we could place a vote somehow, and I don't know how we do this, but to change a venue? I know we got to look into different options and things change, like sometimes the school is being used. I was told, that we actually had a couple offers,
Yes.
for a venue change, but we needed a vote. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I want to establish moving forward, how can we potentially have a venue change for future meetings, coming up?
Currently, the ordinance says the second Thursday of the month is at Village Hall. So we have to amend the ordinance to include the ability to move it if necessary. There's nothing current in the rules of council and the order of business that would allow us to necessarily do that for that meeting. And now to establish a separate meeting, obviously the format and the location, just as the previous town hall could be the senior center or the school, wherever there's availability. So
be done through an emergency and
Special meeting.
So what's gonna happen in that special meeting?
don't
I
know
think
that.
that should be open to public.
I just mean like moving
We're
forward.
just talking about the possibility of a meeting. We haven't established any of what you're looking for.
In general, moving forward, how can we make this easier to open up our doors to the public? This isn't an ideal situation with how many people wanted to attend tonight. We all know that, but, so how do we establish, is there something we can vote on now? Not necessarily establishing another meeting, but that we're able to vote on a location, or could we do a location change a certain amount of time before the next meeting, or?
The codified ordinances indicate that the regularly scheduled meeting is the second Thursday, and it's here. It also says that a special meeting can be established. We could establish that at a different location if necessary, as long as it's properly noticed in the media and in the community. We've done work sessions before like that. So that's a matter of council deciding the format and how they wanted to proceed, a date and a location. Those are all things that would have to be put together and put before council to vote on.
So for our regularly scheduled meetings that are already on the books,
They're already on the books
They have
for
to be
Village
here.
Hall. They have to be here unless we change that ordinance.
change it. If you just change your contract, all these people go away.
Yeah, I understand.
Say it again.
I said, just negate your sales contract and all these people go away.
Go away.
They all go away. You get 3 people.
New people.
All right. So we need to move on in the agenda. We've allocated an hour.
Be on your shoulders.
Reading and disposition.
Leave this, please.
Anybody?
Ready?
About the town hall.
Reading.
The meetings are always the second Thursday. Yes.
Three disposition of bids. Free fall.
Can we wait 1 second?
Why now?
Yeah. Oh, that's the contract. Yes.
All right, read this disposition minutes. Council meeting 312.
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call.
Curtis, Mike, did you second? Okay. Elias?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Second? Mike?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Resolution number 11, 2026 is on third reading. This is a resolution authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council MILPEC 2026 Energized Community Grant. We have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Do we have a second? Any discussion?
Roll call.
Elias?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Becky? Mike?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Resolution number 14, 2026. This is currently on second reading with the recommendation to suspend the third reading due to the timing of the application for this grant. It needs to be turned in, or actually was already turned in. Should be the 60-day deadline, which that's going to be on June 6th, correct?
Okay, June
On
6th.
June 6th.
June 6th for the fishing derby.
Fish Derby.
I think that's what we discussed. Me and you discussed this.
I'm not in charge of it, but I believe that was the first Saturday of June.
I can hear what's going on.
No, you can't close the door. You can't close the door.
Can't close the door, just ask him to go outside, please.
So I believe the event is on June 6th. Correct.
I believe so.
Usually. So this is a resolution authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to take all actions necessary to apply for the ODNR grant for fishing derby and declaring an emergency. Motion to suspend the third reading.
I'll motion because I want to talk about it.
Sure.
Perfect.
Second.
Roll call.
Elias?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
And then we would need a motion to approve.
So we can get rid of that $500, right?
Motion
Yes,
please.
I mean, as long as we, accept our application.
Yep.
Who made the motion? Okay. And
Hold on, is there discussion or not?
After
Lucy,
the
would do-
motion, it's second.
Yeah.
We need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Who was it first?
Mike,
Mike.
Now it's discussion.
now we're discussing.
I thought was my question. $500, and if it's approved, that is yes.
Yes.
Right, so it's still up to the ODNR whether it's approved. It has been for a number of years.
It's just us asking for not a joint entity, correct?
Correct. Roll call.
Elias?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Resolution number 17, 2026. I recommended suspending the rules. I think Mr. O'Leary noted that he likes to acknowledge all donations. So this based on that historic practice. This would be a resolution to acknowledge a donation to the village of Perry Lee Lighted Park by Petiti Family of Farms. It's a $115 pin oak, I believe. Do we have a motion to suspend the rules?
I moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Cameron. One of them, yeah, Becky.
Roll call. Elias?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Becky? Mike?
No.
Curtis?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Motion to approve, resolution 17, 2026.
Isn't that what we just did?
They suspended the
Suspend the
rules.
rules.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, motion.
Do we have a second?
Roll call.
Any discussion on it? Elias?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Mike?
I'm gonna vote yes, but I'm also gonna explain my no vote on the rules suspension. I don't think it met the requirements for legally suspending the rules. I don't think it met criteria, but I am in favor of the resolution. So yes.
Curtis?
So we're reading, just so that I understand it, the legalities of this, we're reading this as a resolution so that we can acknowledge the donation, right? Not necessarily that.
Right. As I've said a couple of different times, when I came as solicitor, anytime there's money that comes in or gifts that come to the village, I want them acknowledged on the record so that there's a permanent record in the minutes that shows the donation came in. Because we've typically followed the rules of a resolution, which is to suspend the rules and then vote on it. I frankly don't believe that we would need to suspend the rules. We're just acknowledging it. It's the same as like a little bit later, we're gonna, I think, are we doing one for this being Child Abuse Prevention Month?
It's not on there, and I think it was prepared for last month. but
Oh, okay.
It is ready. We would just have to.
Well, even like this thing with supporting the Ohio Commission for America 250. I mean, those are, I'll use the term ceremonial, that's not the correct term. We follow the order of council rules for resolutions, which is why we suspend the rules. I think that for some of these things, we go through the formalities and it's not necessary. But I think it's good to follow the rules because that way we have it on record that we did it the right way. So next.
Well, these other things are also a timely manner too.
Right. Understood.
Resolution 18/2026. Recommendation to suspend the three reading rule. This is a resolution of the Village of Perry, Ohio, supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial American 250 Ohio. There's a motion. And a second. I'll second.
Roll call.
Elias?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Becky? Mike?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yeah.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Roll call. Or discussion?
No, like I actually proposed this, and the reason we're suspending is because the America 250, we should get grading and things for the Memorial Day Parade, Fall Festival, and it's time bound, so obviously 250 expires 2026.
Yes, yes, yes. Roll call.
Roll call, Elias?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Becky? Mike?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Resolution, number 19/2026. Recommendation to suspend the three reading rule, that is due to ODOT requires us to make a commitment for our road salt contract by May 1st. They will allow a resolution to be presented after that date, but they require us to turn in our numbers by May 1st. So it does make sense to suspend the rules in this case, I believe. This is a resolution authorizing participation in the ODOT road salt contracts awarded in year 2026 for Perry Village and declaring an emergency. Do we have a motion to suspend the rules? Okay. And a second?
Roll call.
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Second? Yes. Mike?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Motion to pass.
Discussion.
We gotta wait to.
Get a motion in a second, then we can discuss it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
When did we get this? When did we get this?
ODOT sent ODOT sent an email about 8 or 9 days ago that this contract would be, well, they basically gave us the details of this contract about 8 days ago and the deadline of May 1st.
Do we know how much salt we're gonna be trying to acquire between us and the school?
Last year, hopefully we don't need this much, but last year we ordered
900?
600, around approximately 600 tons we requested for the village and 300 tons for the school. And I believe we're pretty close to those numbers.
Do you have to agree to a price or is that later?
That price is determined later. By,
Based on how many people
right, they
buy
bid
into
it
it.
out to a number of different vendors in different regions.
And so based on our commitment and the commitment of all the communities, they'll go out to bid it and price will get established.
And it was a good thing we had because they weren't giving out the salt to anybody. They didn't have a contract last year because they ran out. So, and we still had a hard time getting it.
We still had a very difficult time getting it.
Motion passed, right? First and second, roll call.
Elias?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Resolution number 2026, first reading. Is a resolution authorizing the mayor to take all actions necessary to apply for the PEP Plus grant program to fund safety, risk control, and declaring an emergency. This is a grant program from our insurance company. Actually, we used $1,000 for majority purchase of a body armor for an officer. So it can be used for similar purposes. Council will need to decide if they like that, if that to be used for, we do the application. Resolution number 2026, first reading. Resolution supporting and urging the Ohio General Assembly to pass Ohio House Bill 695, HB 695, and declaring an emergency.
As the proposer of this legislation, can I get you to read it for us?
Yes.
First read.
Resolution number 2026. Again, a resolution supporting and urging the Ohio General Assembly to pass Ohio House Bill 695, HB 695, and declaring an emergency. Whereas the Village of Perry hereby expresses and declares its full support, urging the Ohio General Assembly to pass Ohio House Bill 695, HB 695, proposing to prohibit local elected officials from entering into non-disclosure agreements regarding public matters. And whereas council finds it to be in the best interest of the village that local public officials are prohibited from entering non-disclosure agreements regarding public matters. And now therefore be it resolved by the council of the Village of Perry, County of Lake, and State of Ohio as follows. Section 1, that the Village of Perry Council finds and determines that it is in the best interest of the Village of Perry to express and declare its full support, urging the Ohio General Assembly to pass Ohio House Bill 695. Section 2, that all formal actions of this council concerning the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting, and all deliberations of this council or any of its committees which resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, that this resolution is hereby declared to be and is passed as an emergency measure. The emergency being the need to properly inform the Ohio General Assembly of support of Perry Village, Ohio, prior to Ohio House Bill 695 General Assembly floor debate.
Comment?
No, this isn't a comment period. Excuse me.
Ordinance number 2026-02, second reading. An ordinance amending section 121.01 and 121.03 1A, standing rules of order for village council of the Village of Perry codified ordinances to amend the start time for village council meetings and declaring an emergency. I do have one note on this. We currently have a planning public hearing scheduled for a zoning issue on May 14th at 6 o'clock, because I was under the understanding that we were having another regular meeting on the 23rd, but that does not appear to be the case.
May?
So it's scheduled for May 14th. So if we do a third reading on this in May, we will need to either make sure council is here at 6 o'clock for that, or 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock for that public hearing. Or we will need to reschedule that,
Gotcha.
or the rules could be suspended on this to move it to 6.
I don't recommend that we suspend the rules. This is one of those circumstances we've talked about before where you're making such a dramatic change in an ordinance. I know it's an hour, but, to go the 3 readings makes most sense.
Okay.
If that means that we can't vote on the 6 o'clock until that meeting.
Correct.
So we probably either need to be prepared to come for the public hearing at 6 o'clock and wait for the regular meeting to start at 7, or we need to change the public hearing to 6:45 and do it before the council meeting.
Right, so since there's a 30-day requirement, we would need to cancel it.
So today is the 9th, so we just make it if we
Yeah,
did
I think it's,
we can just leave it at 6 o'clock and,
yeah, just
everybody
as
know.
long as there's enough people here at 6.
okay,
So you're asking us to come instead of at 7.
Right.
for the public hearing.
Right.
So should we go around and discuss what is a good start time? If 6:30, want to stay at 7? I mean, it would be good to get a consensus.
I thought we had already discussed that when we suggested the 6 o'clock.
Well, I don't think it was ever discussed. It was just kind of thrown out there. I mean, it's,
I think everybody said kind of yes,
okay.
right? You remember
That's
that?
what I got from it, but I might not have understood it.
I mean, I think there were some people that said 4 o'clock. Not that I'm looking at anybody in particular, but, which would be fine with me, but most people, and for the public, you want to make it late enough so people can make sure that they're home from work and be able to be here. And if you go much before 6 PM, you're going to make it hard for some people to be able to come to a public meeting.
Yep.
Just to be fair. So,
I think 6 o'clock does the community more of a service because they're able to stay for the entire meeting now. Instead of just coming in, public comment and leaving, they can see what's going on the rest of the time.
agree. So we're going to leave the public hearing at 6 o'clock and ask everybody to come for the 6 o'clock.
Is everybody able to make it at 6?
Yeah, what day?
It's
14. It's the same as the council
Same
meeting.
as the council meeting, it's just the public hearings at 6.
You guys are okay with 6 o'clock for the public
Yeah,
hearing?
mainly, I just wanted to make sure that the hearing was still going to go on. So.
All right.
Ordinance number 2026-05, first reading, an ordinance prohibiting members of village council and the mayor from entering into non-disclosure agreements regarding public matters, creating section 731.142 and 733.241 of the municipal ordinances of the village of Perry and declaring an emergency.
John, can I just talk about this? I don't want to make you read the whole thing.
Sure.
So this is, I also proposed and wrote this legislation. This goes above and beyond the state of Ohio. No matter what the Ohio House and Senate do in the General Assembly, this would be a self-limiting ordinance that the village of Perry, any public officials, whether it be council or the mayor, cannot sign a non-disclosure agreement.
And, we have one more ordinance, ordinance number 2026-06, first reading. This is an ordinance amending chapter 121 of the codified ordinances of the village of Perry and declaring emergency. Just a note on this, this is a different piece of legislation than ordinance number 2026-02, which is suggesting a change in time to 6 PM. The changes within this ordinance relate to the structure of committees. It does incorporate the new time change, under the assumption that that may end up happening during the course of the readings for this ordinance. That's all I have for legislation.
So we're considering changing the structure of committees.
Right, so some of the committees would be consolidated, and I think Curtis can talk more about this.
Can we get a list of what's going on with this before we have a second reading?
It's within the ordinance.
It's in your packet.
Yeah, you can see what the rundown on it, the change to incorporate text my job into the communications committee, and then
take the beautification committee, neighborhood revitalization, what fit in and make it revive and provide.
That's the only two changes?
Those are the only two changes. It was so that we could actually start to get people seated on those committees. Because they, in theory, right now, don't exist in that form.
Correct.
So I don't personally think that pitching, you're putting pitch in there too, right? And thrive and revive,
It becomes part of that committee, yeah.
right? I don't really see how those things work together. Because thrive and revive are, you know, the different thing. The pitch in, I feel like is a totally different subject. I just don't see how they meld together.
Well, the way I'm trying to look at it is the beautification of the community and the pitch-in piece fall into that bucket as like a maintenance, right? And I just, those three committees stand alone. I don't think that enough meat and potatoes to them. You know, keep public interest on a committee to have a meeting once a month to say, hey, we're here to have a meeting, have a good day.
You're gonna change the name? Is it still gonna stay pitching?
It would become part of Revive and it would become the Revive and Thrive Committee, and that would be the Thrive provision of the committee.
So you would change the name?
Mhm.
Still kind of feel like it should be separate.
It's on first reading.
We'll talk later.
I don't care if you talk about it. I just want you to know that it's just on first reading, so. It probably would be good if all council had a chance to review that and see what's consolidated. And when it comes up for second reading next month, if there are more pertinent questions or if you have recommendations for amendments to it, that would be the time for us to do that before it comes up for third reading in June.
Okay. Me and Bob drove around the village, looked at stormwater drains, found a couple that needed work on Main Street. Also some sidewalk work, connecting Boot Farm to the Main Street Village. We're gonna get quotes on that and replacing the sidewalks from Main Street around Thompson. The 30-inch sidewalks now, so we're gonna get a quote to replace them with the 40-inch sidewalks that are now being replaced from this stormwater work that's being done over there at Enbridge.
Is that the only location for sidewalks?
That's the ones I'm getting quoted right now.
Yes, because I mentioned before about the sidewalk in front of my house is heaving. And it's been heaving ever since they did the stormwater project. And it's gotten worse in the last few years. It's now a tripping hazard. We've ground it down a little bit and we painted it red. But
Still a
it's
tripping
definitely a
hazard. Gotcha.
Is that the only place that's happened?
I'm sure I haven't walked the streets
So-
this year, so.
What they
A
did
little
is
early in the year.
They removed the 4 blocks on my 8-branch sidewalk. They left the one and I told them it's gonna settle, it's gonna be a problem. And
20 years later.
the previous road supervisor said, well, when it happens, we'll replace it then. So, yeah, it's the only one in my yard that's like that, and I haven't seen any others because my yard's the only one that they chose to piecemeal.
I've got Troy's number if you want to call him and ask him.
Oh, yeah. It's
Way before that.
20 years.
I'm talking 20,
I still think you should go.
22? 23?
2014.
Oh, the only
No,
2014?
even before that, like about 2010.
With him?
It was a long time ago.
That's all I got. Jim?
I don't have anything.
Ah,
A few things, please bear with me, because they're kind of important. So first, the pickleball court update is Bentley's gonna be out there. They're gonna do it in concert with the drainage project to do the excavation and stone work. As some of you are aware, Lieutenant Collins is still here, but he brought up that there's an electric line that goes from the garage out to where the volleyball courts were. So no one seems to know where it is, what it's buried in, how deep it is. So we have an issue because that's where the pickleball courts are going. So we could pay somewhere around $10,000 to locate it, or we can turn the power off and we excavate. So that's what we've done now. So if you go out there, there's a sign on the panel that says power's off until the pickleball court is constructed. It saves us more money. If we hit it, we'll fix it. That's a lot cheaper than locating. Okay. no danger. So please bear with us. The road crew is gonna put a lockout on that, but there is a sign of it.
So call before you dig, won't help
They
out
only
on
go
that,
to the meter.
private?
Yes, anything on the other side of the meter is private. And then you have to hire someone to come in and do it. Okay, Tony. So.
I got a metal detector.
We'll find it. We'll find like that should be that hard, right? So then once Bentley's done is we'll solicit quotes for the asphalt. That'll be next. Okay. The drainage project's gonna begin next week. Bentley's gonna be mobilizing tomorrow and Monday. Work will begin on Tuesday or Wednesday. And it should be complete by the end of May, about 6 weeks. Green Street water line and roadway will go out to bid next week on 4/16. Bids will be due May 7th, so that will get moving. So, all right, something I said. Manchester Road Bridge. The Lake End engineer is going to be, they hired Union Industrial to replace the bridge. Manchester will be closed next week. They're saying all the way through October. I don't think it's gonna take that long. I don't think Union Industrial thinks it's gonna take that long, but that's what they're saying. So just to understand the detour, the official detour is Call Road to Middle Ridge to Center.
So we've
I didn't have my
communicated,
buzzer go off this time. Is the bridge that they're gonna put in, is it gonna change the weight limits on Manchester?
Yes.
It's gonna be a full loaded bridge. It's gonna
Okay,
be up
so
to-
we can take down the weight limit signs and
The county will take those down.
there was a limiting factor on who we went with garbage trucks too.
Yeah,
Because the
it'll-
wear and tear on the roads plus the bridge.
I still suggest we have a limit on that anyway.
I think we should still keep the semis from going down the road.
But they can't, because of the money the funding source they got, they have to build it to full load. As the mayor said, we went out and looked at the catch basins. We did it, that estimate for that is about $70,000. So you guys understand, we put that out, that might estimate, the quotes will probably come in lower, they usually do. We're also working to hire a contractor to remove some trees that are obstructing flows in Red Creek. So that'll be reimbursed through stormwater. OPWC pre-outs are due to the county May 23rd. It said May 23rd-ish, because they said in the conference call earlier this week, it was May 23rd. I wouldn't put it on the calendar. That's a Saturday. I don't think the county engineer's working on Saturday, so May 23rd-ish. And then one last thing, and this is my background's transportation. If you have signs in your yard, that's great. It's great to have First Amendment right to keep your signs out there, who you're voting for, whatever. It can't be in the right of way. If it's in the right of way, it becomes an obstruction to drivers and causes safety issues. So if you guys see people, please tell them, put the signs on the outside. If you don't know where the right of way is, look for a sidewalk, look for a utility line, look for a fire hydrant. Because those are all in the right of way. So they're beyond that. When the signs are right up next to the road, God forbid you have a child running out, someone doesn't see them, the sign's in the way, bad things happen. So that's why we don't put signs in the right. That's it and everything.
Thanks, Bob.
I have a question about the trees in Red Mill Creek.
Yes.
Where is that?
In various places on Red Mill Creek, they're falling down over and they're starting to impede the flow. I think just downstream from your house. So
Yeah, that's.
the mayor and I walked those too when they were. So we're gonna, and point of stormwater will be doing. It's very destructive to bring equipment to remove them. Cut them up, stack them on the bank. If they get into a high flow, they'll wash out.
You, notify the owners, whose property that's up to that.
Typically,
we're good with the school as far as the bridge.
They're aware of it. I don't think anybody's happy about it. Yeah, they're well.
But you have their blessing that they have their plan in place and it's not gonna be a total.
They're aware of it and they know they're gonna work around it. That's what we did. It's that same email you guys get, I sent to them. So.
Yeah.
They've been aware of it.
I haven't seen any communication from the school and essentially a week from today is the first day that school will happen for the bridge is closed.
I can reach out to them again, just make sure that they understand.
Hey, everybody got their financial report? Beach chief, public works, Tony, any questions on those? Exam note, there's a meeting possibly next week. We'll see if we have a agenda meeting or not. Prelim Since it might schedule. Elias.
I'm gonna keep it short. Brian, myself, Becky, the mayor, however many of the four of us are available, we'll be interviewing chiefs or potential applicants, next Tuesday and Wednesday. And John is working on putting that schedule, so, hopefully we'll get the first round done, by this time next week, and then we'll move that. We'll identify who we want to move forward to the final round, and then all of council, and the school will be there.
Curtis.
Get a whole lot, just that if we want to limit public comment, I think that we need to change the rule. So that we're able to do that. And then obviously the things I proposed this evening, I fully endorse that we get rules to stop, disclosure agreements, because I think that they have a place in local business.
Right. A few things here, with the OWL system last, meeting, I checked last night, we were over 150 views, from the last meeting, so, I think that's pretty awesome, that many folks tuned in or watched it multiple times, I don't know. So, we talked about some improvements with the views. When I came and picked up some stuff from John the other day, he mentioned that he's kind of been tweaking it a little bit to get a better view of everything going on. And we might perhaps have to build something.
I think we will have to. I'm just watching it today. I think we will need to figure out a way to elevate it. Because, especially when there's a lot of people in the room, it's hard for it to focus on the speaker for whatever reason. So we'll have to work on that a little bit.
It's a 360 camera.
Yeah.
Does it, if you hung it from the ceiling, does it invert the video?
I
Where
don't
it's
know.
right side up?
I do not know.
Good question. Yeah.
Does that would give us a good view?
We talked about maybe mounting it on a wall or something, have it above
But it
it.
can't be over there because it'd be staring at everybody's back.
Yeah.
True.
We'll have to keep playing around with it, but overall, I thought it was really good quality.
Yeah, I think
it does.
we could do something for the corner or something.
Yeah, well, a lot of positive feedback from the community.
Good.
My wife was able to watch the meeting, after putting the kids, the next day, so that was cool. And just folks in general, and it helped, today with not having everybody necessarily in here, everybody will be able to see it, the next day, all the comments and stuff. I appreciate everybody coming out today. It's a lot of support, one way and the other. It's good to always hear from the community in general, because as public officials, we like to hear feedback, whether that's positive, negative. As it was stated, like our job is to be a voice for the people of Perry. So, regardless of your thoughts on the data center or not, I just appreciate everybody showing up and having some dialogue. Over the last week, I fielded calls from people from Perry Village, the township, all over the place, both positives and negatives about the data center. And I just want everybody to know that we are listening and we are acknowledging that everybody is here, and I do appreciate everybody's opinion one way or the other. So thanks for showing up. I hope everybody keeps showing up, and also continue showing up not only for the big things, but also for the day-to-day things. Feedback in general is awesome. And that's how we make this community great. So thank you guys for coming. Last couple meetings, I talked about fireworks, and just what we can do this year with the community. I haven't gotten any feedback on the fireworks. So I asked for the public's feedback, and feedback from council. So I'm just going to throw it out there, as far as, I've been thinking about it, as far as there's people for the fireworks, people against the fireworks. I acknowledge that, there's opposing, just as the data center, there's opposing the same pullers for the fireworks, but What I proposed this year is that, 4th of July weekend, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. And one thing I was a little disappointed last year is that was it for the community. I thought that limited some, public or, some emergency people working, like firefighters, from participating, police, nurses, I mean, even, people that work every other weekend at retail. Every job now is working on weekends. So I think it would be nice to include either the weekend before or the weekend after to give those folks an opportunity to do fireworks as well. That's my 2 cents on it. I'd like your guys' feedback on that. The state of Ohio, just so you guys know, and we can limit, we have control to decide for our community. But the state of Ohio does the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then also the surrounding weekends, as well as it's overall about 20 days throughout the year that you can light fireworks, which I think is, regardless here or there, that's what the Ohio code is. If we're gonna modify it, I think a decent compromise is just doing the weekend of 4th of July and either the weekend before or after. As far as hours are concerned, I'm open for discussion on, what hours are appropriate. That's the feedback. So if anybody has any feedback on that.
Now, what are you gonna do for Memorial Day?
Well, and that's the thing, we haven't.
Memorial and Labor Day, you have those as well, that you have to, if we're gonna pass legislation that restricts, we probably should do all 3 holidays at one time.
And that's a very good point, because last year there was no Memorial Day or Labor Day. In Perry, technically, it was not allowed. So, last year it was only 4th of July, and it was just the weekend. So that's why I'm proposing, like, we just kind of work together to pass something, and we kind of gotta do it quickly as we're approaching the 4th of July. So that's that, if anybody has feedback. I did take a look at the folders, the Welcome to Perry folders. I picked up a couple of them. Looking through, we got to update some forms. There's like a RETA form and some other forms that I got to look into. And then just generally like updating, maybe including things like what our trash is, what our electric is, just a general, like what the amenities of Perry Village is. So I'm working on kind of looking at that, and then maybe saving some money and also putting this information on our website. And then instead of passing out a folder, because those folders are actually really nice. Like they say Perry, I don't know if everybody's seen them, but they say Perry, they're cool. But save in the future, saving money and perhaps moving to like a little postcard or like with a QR code that you can scan that goes right to the information on the website.
Any idea how much each folder would cost?
I haven't looked into that yet. As far as the folders go, the ones that I were looking at were from 2024. I think was the last time they were put out. That's what it said. So we'll have to get updated.
I may want to consider looking into small businesses or businesses in general in the community to see if they'd be willing to sponsor. Let's see, and then they just absorb the cost of the making of it.
Yeah.
I have there's a realtor out of Manor or something, and she does this, and so essentially she gets businesses, and she limits it to like one. In this case, she limits it to one business per. Like in this case, that would be the flooring business. So I could get you in contact with the guy who does those binders or folders for her. And maybe he could be of some assistance to you and guiding me. But I think you could get businesses in here that would pay for it that promotes their business in front of the residents that are coming in here.
Well, one question I had about something that we were talking about, a public hearing. What date is that?
It's on
May
May
14th.
14th, same day as the.
Same as the council meeting, it's just at 6 o'clock.
What's that public hearing for?
I'd have to double check, but it's related to
6 p.m. ordinance.
zoning.
No, it's zoning.
It's there's a zoning ordinance, that's coming up.
Church property, I believe
Is it being brought up from the planning commission? Is that what it is?
We have a meeting next week and.
So we're anticipating that you're gonna have something to provide to us to approve.
I believe this was the one regarding the update to the vacant property
Okay.
registration fees, I think, which
Okay.
was discussed previously.
Yes.
So I think that one, because I spoke with Christian and he said that one was discussed.
He said it
We're
at
supposed
6
to
o'clock,
meet,
thinking that we were already gonna be at 6 o'clock, so it wouldn't conflict.
I just didn't realize there was
Yeah.
that going on. So on a different note, and last thing, I want to ask kind of council, I just want to point this out. I came across something on a Facebook post that was said by a previous council member, and I just got to ask because it's a little confusing. The quote from the Facebook post is, Mayor Gesick this past year has been working to educate council on different pilot structures available and is looking for their support to build something that truly benefits the village long term. With that being said, my confusion is, and I don't know, I don't want to speak for anybody else here, but this past year, I have not been involved with any discussions with you on different pilot structures and education on pilot structures. I don't want to speak for Pam or Curtis. I'm just wondering where this education was.
Friday year, last year, council, we discussed pilot structures, minimum service payments, the formula that goes into minimum service payment. We had discussions on that. I did mention a pilot structure, probably January, February, basically it's payment in lieu of taxes. I didn't mention that. Based on how that structure is, I'm not expert on it, so I don't know. That's why I have an attorney to
I'm
talk
not
about
either.
that.
That's why I would like the same education before we even look at pilots. I mean, I think for us, I mean, we're new and, you know, there's a lot of information that's needed in general. What a pilot is, what can we do? This is all new stuff. And I just wanted to know, like, if you guys had this education, because the three of us have, and quite frankly, it's a little disappointing if you guys did have it and did have these things where I just feel like the three of us haven't been afforded the same opportunity to educate ourselves. And that's frustrating, especially when I have community members calling one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I can't speak to these things or even, you know, in general, what's going on. So it is frustrating and I appreciate you guys, but I just want to know what we can do to bring ourselves up to speed, because I guess this pilot is about to be discussed, and I feel like, at least I can speak for myself, I don't have any information on even what to expect.
Can I borrow a moment of your time? Just to comment on that, because I've had the same question of, are there people that are previous council members actually being communicated to by Providence Group and actually working for the village, not being in official capacity? And my response was not to my knowledge. But putting a post out like that is kind of disingenuous to me, because now a new council sitting here and understanding what an acronym means does not understand that you know what all the nuts and bolts of that are.
Well, we have a guy in the park lot who will explain that, so we'll be going on that session.
I kind of want to respond to you. I think the word education on pilots is a bit much. As the word pilot and or vacant come up in conversation. Yes, there have been zero discussion that I have personally been involved in regarding a pilot and or an abatement with them. I would assume, just as is the case with the Cleveland Browns Stadium or any other big company that would come in, that they're going to ask for an abatement, or an abatement, or, you know, just recently within the past few months, I learned about pilots.
So Mayor Gesick did not discuss different pilot structures with you? That was my question.
Did the word pilot and or abatement come up? Yes, but structures,
Yeah,
that was never.
Okay, so
that
the
was never
comment is not
discussed.
true, is what you're saying.
Not structures, no.
No, that was.
It's just payment in lieu of taxes. That's about all I know
So
about pilots.
this comment makes it seem like you educated all of council on different pilot structures. And that's my question is, because I haven't been educated or we haven't discussed different structures in general and what different pilots are.
Yeah.
So that's why, like,
I know as much as you about pilots. I know it's came in a little tax and they put different money in different buckets. That's about all I know.
Well, and I think to go a step further with that, you know a little bit more than what you're saying from the perspective of having gone to New Albany, you've had discussions with the folks there and sort of what they did. So I think you're a couple steps ahead of the new council people because of the research that you and the group that went down to New Albany came back with. And so the discussions have been very general because until we got to the point where we got through due diligence and at the close of due diligence period, where we could actually look at the issue of, are they going to even ask for abatement? And if they are, what are they offering in lieu of? That we haven't seen yet, as has been talked about tonight. So I don't think you're behind the curve. You're getting there, as we all will when we get to the next step.
Yeah.
I apologize for cutting you off.
No, and I appreciate you kind of explaining, but again, I don't, we use the word education, and again, there was no education because it would be the blind leading the blind, right? So did you talk about the word pilots and abatements, and is there a possibility that they would ask for that? First off, they never asked for it prior to January. So prior to the new council coming in, at least I was never in a meeting or in a room where Providence requested, or even hinted that there was going to be a request. One is to assume with a project at that site that would be something that a company like that would want. But those discussions were never ever had, and in multiple meetings over the course of the entire project, that has been communicated to the community. Right? They've not asked for an abatement. We're not at that point of the project. So on and so forth. And so in the discussions, when it came to pilots and abatements and stuff like that, it was briefly discussed that if we ever got to that point, clearly that would be a situation where we would want to hire a law firm because nobody in the room, even today, is an expert. And it would be extremely silly to have those discussions when nobody is knowledgeable to that point. So was that? So
Yeah, I was just curious because
but I wanted to make
coming from a source that was,
yeah,
you know, I mean, I was just asking. I wanted to ask.
Well, I will tell you that source doesn't speak for me.
That's fair, and that's why I brought it here to ask you guys in right here. That's why. So that's what I got today. I appreciate everybody coming.
Mike.
Got two things. First, finance meeting. We're gonna have a finance meeting on Tuesday, May 12th, 5:30 p.m. As of right now, the only three people on the committee are the mayor, Mr. Roskis, and myself. But since council is tasked with maintaining and watching over the budget, it would be very helpful if everybody was here so we can go over the budget. Any questions on how the budget is built, on how we're spending money, this is a perfect opportunity to bring yourselves up to speed on this. So invitation is out to everybody. John is gonna, 5:30, John is gonna go ahead and post that to the newspaper and on the website, and also probably on sign, correct? Correct. Second thing is, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I'm also not gonna let this go without comments. Earlier in the meeting, previous council was accused of taking bribes, accepting money, and being on the take. And in 17 years I've been on council, I'm not referring to this council here because we've only been together for 4 months. Prior to this was the best group of people that we had sitting at these tables. Every single one of us donated our time, our money to better this community. There was people that we had events at the park. We spent our own money. Even people on council right now
that weren't on council back then were spending their own money and not asking for reimbursement on anything. So I wish I could say it's unbelievable that someone would just levy accusations like that without knowing anybody. But in today's political times, it's pretty much par for the course. I'll speak for the past council. I don't care if they prove it or not. Nobody was on date. And it's easy to come in here and make accusations against people that they don't know. And not a single person that made those accusations in my 17 years have I seen them at a council meeting. So before you start making accusations, come to a meeting, introduce yourselves to the council members, call us, talk to us. We're residents just like everybody else. So to disparage somebody that's trying to do good for the community, in my opinion, it was reprehensible. That's all I have to say.
I lost my turn, but I'm gonna speak regardless. Because that is extremely offensive as well. Not your comment, but the accusations. And it's actually pretty dangerous. And you're skating on thin ice with an 800-pound gorilla on your back because I take a great deal of pride. I'll speak for myself. I take a great deal of pride for Perry. I'm extremely involved in this community. I make myself available. Some of you people in this room have reached out to me and have met with me regarding whether it's data center or other concerns. So to make an accusation and then divide new versus old council and not have any proof has me really thinking about what's going to be my first call tomorrow morning because those are extreme accusations and not doing something about it is essentially validating it. So I echo you. I echo you. I thought that was very disrespectful. Again, I take a great deal of pride in this community. And to your point, some of the ones that made those accusations, I've never seen once in this village. Not volunteering, not walking the streets, not participating in anything. So yeah, again, very dangerous words to spew. It has me really deep in thought about what my personal next move is.
Pam.
Okay. So I agree. I've only been here 4 months, but I've been coming to meetings for 5 years. We know all these people. We don't always agree. We seldom agree. But I still think that they're good people and honest people and hardworking, and they just, no offense, I think they made a bad decision when they jumped into the purchase agreement. But I don't think they had any intentions or motivations to take anything. I don't think people should come out and say that because it's slander. So I wasn't going to talk about that, but so it is. So then quickly, okay, first I rode in a cruiser with Sergeant Ward and it was so fun. And he's super nice and he does a great job. He's a super guy and I want to do it again. And I think everybody should do it because it's very educational to see how they have to write up their reports and all that sort of thing. And then the PEC grant, I talked to the mayor and we talked about getting a gate for the park, right? So I've done made some phone calls and I guess they're steel, but the steel gates, they're called barrier gates, so they would like swing in and lock in the middle. You know what I'm talking about? But the metal ones are going to be up around $2,000. So then I went back and I am getting some quotes on wood, which I think would look nicer because it's a part. And they're sturdy as long as nobody comes into them. But, so hopefully those are cheaper and I guess we'll proceed from there. Anybody has any
Question? Is that a nightly thing where you'd be closing the gates and then opening in the morning?
Correct.
Who's going to do that? Because we've been, and I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but we've been through this before.
Right.
And it wasn't really feasible.
Well,
we can have the officer open and close it.
Yeah.
It gets light and dark. A lot of people are going there at night doing whatever activities they may
Yeah,
be
but they're not
doing.
going in by car. They're usually
Yeah,
walking.
yeah, they are.
Yes, they are.
I look at,
Yes, they are.
I'm gonna support Pam. I look at the reports. I'm in constant conversation with our police department. And what's going on in our community, what's going on in the park itself. It's changing, you know, people want to talk about Perry Village and being here 30, 40, 50 years. It's changed in the 12 years that I've been here. So I think something needs to be done just to protect, the long term of our community, but even the residents whose backyard bump into that, park. That being said, I personally would be more interested in investing, you know, to do the metal. Is it a bigger cost initially? Yeah, but I think long term, it's just more sturdy, it lasts longer, and there's less biannual maintenance on it versus making one out of wood, you know, creating one out of wood. That's an extremely wide area you're covering.
17 feet.
Yeah, so for a wooden fence, you know, 8.5, 9 feet across both. So personally, to me, it would be just better if we're gonna do something, invest the money, because I think long term, it just pays for itself. In many different
Say that.
Continue it next month when I get the quotes for the wood. And
This is the first time I'm hearing about all these problems that we're having in the park. So before we discuss this any further, can we get maybe a report on how many times there's been incidents in the park? Is it once a week? Is it once a day? Is it once a month?
Well, yes, absolutely. I could have, in this case, Collins, specifically, note how many times it's happened.
If we could, like, how many times cars in there as opposed to someone that just walked in through the fields? Because there's plenty of places to get into that park by foot.
Yeah.
if you talk to the Shabbats that live on the corner, they,
Do they see what's coming out from the back though?
well,
Or are you talking about cars going?
Cars.
cars. Cars. There's a lot of cars in there at night. I was over there the other day, just cruising around at dusk, and this, golf cart with 3 kids in it came flying around from the service road behind the woods. And, you know, they wouldn't do that if we had a fence. They are a gate, and they shouldn't be back there. So, I don't know, but we can.
Thank you for looking into that.
The other thing, that reminded me of the batteries too, which I really don't want to talk about a lot, but I sent 2 prospective locations to the mayor and Elias, and I talked, he called me, and we think next to the bill drop box, close to that would be good. He said there's a security camera. You know, that's never gotten plowed over, so that would be good. Police officers could keep an eye on it. So it would be right next to the other one. It would be visible to the public. So I know the mayor said at the last meeting we needed to vote on it. So we could just vote.
We'll make a motion to relocate it to the,
Bill drop area.
by the mill drop area.
It could just be. Why do we need to vote on that? It can just be approved, right?
Chris, we're gonna have it in the minutes. That way there's no question about it.
All right, so the location you're suggesting is where? Right here?
Right by the mill.
Look at a payment box, right?
Yep.
We have 2 by 4 by 4s over at that garage that we could
Yes.
use to
Yeah.
put it up.
So I'm going to Brian seconded it. Did you get that?
Yep.
Okay.
Roll call.
Elias,
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Birthday, I'm not gonna go on about it, but we've been working hard. We have way too many things planned. It's the 26th of April. Birthday is actually 22nd. So it's the 26th, which is Sunday from 1 to 4, and hope for good weather like we have had in the past sometimes. But it'll be a fun day. We'd love for the council to come out. If anybody wants to come and volunteer for an hour or 2, that would be great. You know, put you at a activity center. We're gonna have the train, food, s'mores, all kinds of things. There'll be a flyer going out to the schools. What else? Oh, town hall meeting we were talking about. Is that something that could happen? I just want to not forget about it, put it on the agenda for the next meeting or whatever you do to keep it alive.
I'm all for it.
You have to establish a date, a format, and a time.
Right.
Bring that back and have council vote on it, and then we can go from there.
Okay. Do some research.
To, as far as the Earth Day, the train, let's make sure that we get eyes on it and look at it because it takes a beating. And when I looked at it, we had to do some TLC because some of the pins that connected, one was absolutely missing. I have no idea how thing was still on. And then another one it just needed replaced.
Oh,
It
John, look at it. You
looks like how I feel.
Fix it.
And I also suggest, because I've actually had a couple of residents say something about this, that the train is going way too fast.
Yeah, that's
That's Elias.
It needs to, no, it was not. It was residents from the community. They said, man, that guy's flying around there. So it's gotta slow
That
down.
was Elias.
probably like what said it's going too fast.
What? Yeah.
I just make sure that I mean I was the one
I just.
that they were complaining about that it was going too fast. But no, make sure that it has the noodles.
Yep.
And really the pins to make sure that they're secure.
We'll do a safety check.
Becky?
Well, our last meeting for with Curtis, I should say, for our committee, we did discuss the fee structure for the vacant homes. We didn't come to a conclusion, but the consensus was, yes, we should raise those. Because we have too many vacant homes that can get vandalized, it can whatever, we have too many of those. We need to, and you know, I'm a broken record, I guess, but we've already been to, with the people that own them, we've already been to court at least once. And because they didn't want to pay, so we're working on that, and then on next Wednesday, 6 o'clock, anybody wants to come to the meeting, we will be discussing Laredo's petition or to rezone some of the property over
Hidden Village,
where Hidden Village is.
back to single family from a PUD.
Christian, I think has it, but he sent us in a text. I don't have my phone here, but he sent us some map of what he wants to, what Laredo wants to do. We'll check it out and decide if we're gonna do that or not, because I know you're not allowed to have spot zoning. So we'll have to see what he wants and go from there.
Is this down behind where the storage units are?
No.
No,
Along the
this
very,
is-
next to the church here, next to that blue house.
Oh, okay.
He also wants to donate some of the land to the church.
There's two pieces.
Yeah.
Two
There's a little
pieces.
strip that was like easement access for utilities next to the church, next to the Main Street farm that he needs to rezone so he can donate it. And then he wants, I believe, a split on the piece that sits next to that blue house, right before the library curve on Main Street.
Yeah.
And to consider that, you need to make sure that notice is given to the surrounding neighbors so that they can be heard before you take it under consideration.
Yeah, it goes from PUD to single family.
Yeah, because if you're gonna change the zoning, you have to follow the zoning code to switch it. It may be appropriate to do it, that's not my decision, but the two things is make sure that we follow the rules and make sure that neighbors within that area are given notice of when that is, and they can come and speak. And then secondly, he has to know that if he does get it changed, he's got to go based on what our rules say. So if the setback is 50 feet, it's 50 feet. If that's what you want, that's what you're going to get, but you have to stay within that. We don't want to come back here and start doing conditional use permits to go
Oh, yes.
further back and, no, you're gonna follow the rule. Okay.
Right.
So he's just gonna
How
make
many
a
feet
preliminary
are we-
proposal?
Yeah, how many feet? 200, is this still 200 feet around for the residents around what he wants to do, or is it less?
Ask Christian.
Yeah,
Ask Christian.
I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look at the zoning.
Okay, I'll take a look.
But there's clear what it is now, what he can do,
Mhm.
and under,
Single family, what he has to do.
right, thank you. That's at 7 or
That's
6?
at 6 o'clock
Okay.
next Wednesday.
And he's gonna be here to present?
I'm
sorry.
Christian did not say that he was going to be here to present, but my
Is there
guess,
gonna be at least a proposal that you guys can look at?
I
Yes.
think so,
Okay.
yes.
Because it makes no sense to take it under consideration if there's not. So, sorry, Mike.
I apologize, Becky. I thought you were done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to clarify my comments about the previous council. And I meant to also include the mayor on that. The mayor, I consider to be a part of council. So as a team, my references were to the 7 of us, all 7.
Purchase approval. On March 6th, April 5th. Second, roll call.
Elias,
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Public comment. One up there, yeah. Go ahead.
3791 Center Road. My first comment is Pam, as a representative of the council. Again, it has been posted about Lake County Nurseries and property being purchased. That is a private purchase between Lake County Nurseries and Properties Group. It does not involve the village and village council. It's for the sale. We should not be involved in that. We should not be talking about it. It's online. It's public knowledge. Because you put it there. No, you can go on the site and look and see. Again, it has nothing to do with us.
Okay, this is public comment. If you'd like to make a
Yes.
comment, you can make your comment.
I am making that. Second of all,
No, I was,
as the new council, there are 3 of you that are new. Whether you are for the data center or against the data center is irrelevant to me. However, this village is going to be coming into some serious financial hurts as we get into 2028. And if you are not for this data center, that's fine. But what are you 3 doing as well to bring economic development to this community? Thirdly, this council over here, the previous council, has done nothing to support this village. They have taken this village out of very hard times where they were in the red when they came on board. They have had to make some very hard decisions. They have had to realign things. And the fact that you would sit here and say, oh, I wasn't involved with that, I'm new on council. You, regardless, you represent this village, you represent our economic growth, and you represent us as a people. Nowhere in this have we ever heard from the township. The township meetings don't get bullied like this. And shame on us for allowing that. The township annexed property to the village. They are just as involved in this data center as everybody else, as well as the gym. Take that into consideration when you are listening to these people speak. Be educated about what you're talking about. And you, thank you for coming and voicing your opinion. Your opinion does, they do this. Now, anything that the mayor does, the village council has to also approve. So take that into consideration. Thank you.
I guess 2 quick comments. I believe in a person's first rights amendments, free speech. I absolutely hate when people make accusations against council that are not backed by any kind of facts. It happened a few months ago last year with Rick Walker. Somebody started something about him. That is just uncalled for, unacceptable, and sitting there listening to that
really bothered me. The other comment, because I had to make a police report today, and Patrolman Mike Slouch, is that it? Luke. I just want to say how respectful he was, how friendly he was, and what a great job he did, and it's a good hire for you guys. That's it, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Let's have a few follow-ups from earlier. I know that people are talking, a lot of it is false information, a lot of it is misinformation. We could do a lot to dispel some rumors right now. If I can ask you guys some direct questions. Elias, did you sign or were you presented with an NDA regarding anything with the data center?
No.
Officially, no. Ms. Shimko?
No.
Mr. Glover? Perfect. I never thought that that was a thing, but now people can go online and watch this and see that you guys are all on record saying no. Thank you for that. I don't believe that anybody on the previous council acted maliciously or selfishly in this whole thing. I believe you guys are trying to do the right thing for the village. These are very complicated times that we're living in. You know, we vote for you guys to do all the stuff that you guys just talked about for the last hour so that we don't have to. That's what we vote. But when it's something like the data center, I feel like it's really important to get more engagement from the community on something like that. I think that's a lot deeper than 17 things you guys just discussed, which is what, like I said, what we voted for you guys to do. So I feel like that's where something, a lot of the outrage is coming from. I hope you guys are aware now after seeing what, happened here tonight that people are misinformed. People are uninformed. People are nervous. People are scared. So moving forward, I just feel like full transparency is really going to go a long way in working this thing out. Obviously, we have, a situation here. You got this side and that side. So we got to figure something out. Transparency moving forward. I feel like if you guys have to go out of your way to post things on Facebook, maybe that will help. I don't know. But I do appreciate you guys and your efforts in leading our village. Curtis, thank you for the NDA legislation that you're proposing. I think that's good. Ryan, thank you for getting these meetings online so that the community can engage and see what's going on. If they're unable to make it, I think that's awesome. So thank you, for making that happen. It was a team effort. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys all. I think that's awesome. And the other thing I just want to point out is I didn't see anybody really show up tonight in full support of the project. I saw a lot of people against it. I don't know why that is. I have my suspicions, but it just, I think is worth pointing out. That's all. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Before you leave, let me address one thing, just so that you know. I have advised council on numerous occasions that it's probably not a good idea to comment on current things that council's doing on social media.
Sure.
It's one thing to be informational, there's a meeting coming or something like that. But a post on Facebook or other social media can be misconstrued as supporting one side or the other. And so I've just advised them not to do that, just because I know that, the issue of being transparent is out there. This is where the transparency takes place. And that's why we appreciate people coming to the meeting, even if it does make it longer than normal. So I just wanted you to know that the reason you don't see them commenting on those types of things by and large is because of my request as solicitor to, if they want to say something, they've got every right to do it. I just asked them to think twice because of the sensitive nature of the issue.
Sure. And you get into those back and forths and those things can never end, honestly. So it's probably the right position. But my comment was more in the stance of like, hey, if we're going to be talking about these things, like maybe just post about it 2 or 3 times beforehand, just to kind of let people know, hey, we're addressing this thing that everybody seems to be worried about.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I have something for you as well. So 2 things I want to make very clear before this meeting ends is, it has always been a standard practice of this council, that there is no Q&A during public, portion of it, right? And if anybody's going to respond, the standard practice has been that it's the mayor. And so while I sat here silent, it was out of respect, out of the practice that we have followed the entire 6 years that I've been on council, right? Now, I believe it was Curtis who asked for permission to kind of respond to one of the things, and he was granted it. And so I appreciate that, right? And I appreciate Curtis asking for that, right? Because it changed the norm of what it's been like for 6 years. But I also want to say for you personally, you were the second person in the 30+ months that this project has been going on that has reached out to me. And I make myself extremely available to this community. They could stop me in the streets. They could call me, whatever may be the case. So I want to thank you for being proactive. And whether we agree or disagree on the stance on any matter, and, you know, I appreciate you as a community member reaching out to me, asking for my time, making yourself available to discuss what your concerns specifically of the topics that you and I talked about earlier this week. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and I think that's third, you're my third call over 30 months.
That's.
Thank you.
Yeah, right?
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your.
Thank you. Julie?
Just real quick.
Shoot.
So if we're gonna do a town hall, I guess my question is this, and I understand that these meetings are public, and that means anybody in the world can come.
Correct.
From Florida, it doesn't matter. But because this is such a heated topic, when you're putting out a structure, is there a possibility that when it comes to the questions or the public comment, that it is followed the suit by the community that is immediately affected, meaning the 3 Perrys, right? Because I'm assuming it's going to have to be open to all of them. And then if you're from an outer municipality, then you can come in. That gives the citizens that have voted for everybody, and that are going to be directly impacted the opportunity and the time to go first, because we saw how long this was. And we saw people coming from other jurisdictions that perhaps there's somebody outside that door didn't get an opportunity to prepare to come in from Perry. I didn't know if that was a legal thing to do when you're structuring a town hall, to structure your Q&A in a format that is for residents first and then outsiders, or if that's a violation of something in the Ohio Revised Code.
I love when people ask like 4 questions in one.
I would suggest that Perry Township and Perry Jed also be included in this town hall, because they're just as much involved as we are.
Yeah.
All the brunt of everything is coming here, and nobody's going to the township and voicing their concerns. Nobody's going to Jed meetings and voicing their concerns.
That's right.
So to go back to your question, not to cut Mike off, but
he did.
I
cut you off earlier.
Yeah. Because a town hall has a different structure, there's a little bit more flexibility in it. I am, however, apprehensive in saying that people can't come and contribute. I think there's a way to do it in structuring the way that questions are brought forward and the format, and that's what we're going to have to wait to see what Pam comes back with, and we'll go through that and come up with something everybody's comfortable with. And we'll have to set a date where we can get Berry Township and others. And so hopefully we'll be able to do that in a reasonable amount of time. But I know I'm not completely answering your question, but until we see a format, what I don't want is a free-for-all. Because as we got it just disintegrated a little bit tonight, where people were shouting things from different parts of the room, that helps no one. And when you make accusations of people, you've just lost all credibility with everybody in the crowd. If you can't reinforce your argument with facts, then you're not going to get anywhere with convincing people as to your position. So I look forward to the format that Pam comes up with. So when you get something together, if you want to forward it to me, because remember, one of the things that we tell council all the time is they can't email each other to discuss these kinds of things. It's a violation of the Sunshine Law. You can only have deliberation and discussion here. Now, 2 council people can talk to each other and have a discussion separate and apart, but I'm sort of the clearinghouse. I'll take that information. I'll try to filter, talk to different other council people to get their input, and then try to come up with something that I present that they can all consider prior to the next meeting. They won't deliberate on it. They just get it so that they at least have time to look at it, mark it up, and then be ready for a discussion at the next meeting. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Bill, do you have any questions?
Mayor, what, with the, you were looking for a law firm for the pilot agreement, looking at some different firms. Has one been hired, or is that something that have to come before council?
One has been hired, yes.
Is that something
Calpe?
the mayor has discretion to do?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Calpe, law firm, or Calpe.
Calpe Culture.
There's 3 different names on it. He's out in the parking lot, waiting to come in.
Okay. All right, so that, okay. And for the town hall, basically the game plan, Pam is gonna try to, put together a proposed format. And will it, at the next council meeting, will it be discussed there among the whole group before anything is scheduled?
Correct.
It would have to be, because we have to get it on the book sooner than later because of the
Okay.
timeframes for the contract.
Okay, so it will be discussed at the next meeting and probably something set by then.
I sure hope so.
Okay. I just want to also, with the owl camera, thank Brian and Mayor and John. I got to look at that after the meeting. It's nice to have something to refer back to, and although I came tonight for different reasons, I wanted to be here. I live in Ashtabula, as you know, there's some winter nights. I have come out here, it's been horrible, and winter nights I've driven back, it's been horrible. So to save myself a 26-mile drive would be nice. Thank you. Thank you. That's everything.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Need a motion to go to executive session?
What are we going into executive session for?
Well, we got our attorney here,
Okay.
so whatever that guys is, we're.
Consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion,
Oh, you got it.
promotion, and economic development. We need a motion to go into executive session for those reasons, inviting in the mayor, myself, and council and the attorney for the firm. Do you want John to stay?
John, you want to go home and stay? You want to stay? You don't want to stay. You go home. John, go home. Been a long day.
So who's making the motion?
Before you finish, can I say one thing? One last
Sure.
thing? I want to second and third, just the fact that I also believe there was no ill will with previous council. There's a lot of discussion now, new council, old council, this divide. That's not what is productive, and that's not the case. We are council at this point, and what's important is moving forward and what we do moving forward and how we go about it.
So. NDA rule was not an accusation, Mayor. It's not an accusation on anybody in the council. I do not think they're a good idea. I don't like them because of how that perception looks of what people think that they can't see.
Yeah. All right, so we've got a motion by Elias to go into executive session for the two reasons that are listed in the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Who was first?
I never did the second.
Pam. Roll call.
Elias? Yes. Brian?
Yes.
Sam? Becky?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
All right, executive session at 9:56. There'll be no action taken afterwards.
Correct.